You know I got to give y'all the intro. We back. We all the way live. Got to give you the whole intro. We like back. Like all the way live back. Like all the way live. Got to give y'all the intro real quick. All right.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, welcome to another edition, another episode of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. Of course, as you know, I'm your host, Manager Marty. We back now. Like we live, like all the way live. I told y'all the other day, matter of fact, I've been saying this since Monday, that before the week was out, we going right back to StreamYard. Now, every time we go live, we're not going to be on StreamYard. Not every time, but every week, oh, we definitely opening the panel up. Absolutely. You know the link is live in the chat. You know the link is right there. Is right there. Backed by popular demand. Yeah. So y'all know what to do. Y'all know exact. Matter of fact, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fall back. We're gonna fall back with the antics, because y'all know I got a lot of those, just for entertainment purposes. And I want to first welcome each and every last one of you to the live broadcast. I appreciate every last one of you, contributing to the channel, first of all, with your time, the most important and valuable asset. I appreciate it. I want to double salute everybody that's in the chat. Also, double salute to everybody that's a part of the Roll the Tape film crew. Everybody that's a part of the Roll the Tape family. Come on in. Grab a plate. I have some food for you. Some food for thought. And then have a seat. Yeah, welcome. I'm just glad to be back on here. Like, when I say back on here, I'm talking about live panel. You know I got one of the hottest chats on YouTube. You know the panel used to be extremely lit. Every time we had a panel, open discussion, always lit. I never had one dull moment. I've never, me personally, I never had one dull moment. And I think that tonight, coming back, resuming our live broadcast with open discussion on a panel, definitely not going to have any disappointments this evening. Not going to hold you all too long. You already know what's on the menu this evening. Tank versus Lamont Roach. We're hearing from reporters and YouTubers and everybody all across the boxing community that allegedly, got to put the word allegedly in this, that the venue has changed and the date was postponed for the Tank versus Lamont Roach fight. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to dive into that fight. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about the ongoing beef that just apparently just won't stop for some reason between Bill Haney and Ryan Garcia. Definitely need an open discussion on both topics. Let me first of all double salute my guy, Jeremy Austin. He's a member of the channel, and he is also a supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. I got so many heavy hitters in my chat right now. The chat is going to definitely be on fire. We already know that. We already know the chat going to be on fire. Let me throw the Cash App down there because y'all know what we do. Listen, all support is welcome and appreciated. Throw the Cash App down there real quick. I don't even want to talk about those two things yet. Not yet. Not yet. I want to actually talk about something else real quick that's on my mind. Let me make sure. Let me go in here and make sure that the link is pinned to the top of the chat. And look, if you want to come on the show, you already know what to do. Just click the link. It's in the chat. I want to make sure it's pinned to the top, though. Don't wait too long. We're not going to be here all night. You know me. You know me. Some of y'all know how I do. We used to run panels for 4 hours. 5-hour energy drinks, I call them. 3 hours. We used to just run it. I can't run it for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours tonight. I probably can run it for 2 hours. We're going to see. But don't wait too late. Don't wait too late. Don't take it for granted. We got all the heavy hitters in the chat, man. Everybody's here. I mean, the viewership is increasing exponentially. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure that the link is pinned to the top of the chat. I just want to make sure, if y'all don't mind, all right? I just want to make sure. It's definitely pinned to the top of the chat. Don't wait too late. Don't wait too late to click that link. It's definitely pinned to the top of the chat. Hold up. See, I didn't get the feedback. Hold on. I want to play something real quick, if y'all don't mind. I want to play something because I want to start the show off right with something that's been on my mind. You know, since we, been talking about, Bill Haney and Ryan Garcia beef. I wanted to talk a little bit about something else. Then we're going to get to the Tank versus Lamont Roach fight and the venue change and the date postponement, allegedly. Let me make sure something else is clear real quick. Because when you come on here, we want to make sure everything is on point when you get up here. Because you know how we do. We don't play no games when you come up here. Let me hold up for a minute. Let me make sure the layout is on point. Yeah, we're going to make sure the layout is on point. I want to play something for y'all just for 1 second. Hold on. Let me play y'all something real quick. This is a video that I published on January the 5th of this year. Beginning of this year, January the 5th, I published it. And that's because nearly a week and a few days before I published this video, Victor Conte came on here for the second time. Remember, Victor Conte came here not once, but twice. Y'all remember that? Right. So he came here twice. And I interviewed him. You know, if you are new to the channel, or if this is your first time here, or if you've been here for a while and you forgot about it, Victor Conte was here. I had 5 hours, 5-hour energy drink, 5 hours of live dialogue with the founder and CEO of SNAC, Victor Conte. The first time he came, I think we did about 3 hours. 3 hours in our dialogue. And then the second time he came, he spent the block and came back 2 hours. 2 hours. But I want to play y'all something. You remember Creo? Creo remember. Mr. Greg, what's up? Creole remember. I'm sure Greg remembers. I'm sure Dean remembers. You know, I'm sure Jeremy remembers. I know Ironheart. I know Ironheart remembers. Omega Red was here. All things. You know, these are the Roll the Tape family members. I know they remember. But I want to play y'all something because there was an excerpt of that second interview that I did with Victor Conte, and I basically, condensed it into a video. I want to play something, and I want to get your opinion on something real quick, and then we're going to start on the show. Listen, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. The panel is backed by popular demand. Y'all been asking for it. Y'all wanted the panel, and now it's here. So don't wait till the last minute to click the link. Y'all can do so at any given time. You already know how we do. Let me play something that Victor Conte said in the second. And you know what? I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it. Oh, boy. Roll the tape. So when people see these similarities from back then, let's say pre-Balco, and then even now, that raises more suspicious to you because there's certain things that didn't change about some of the things that you do.
Now, I wish we could pull it up, but we won't take the time to do it. But did you see the comment that I sent to you where I referenced Ralph Waldo Emerson?
Where was the comment at, on YouTube?
You didn't see it? What he basically said is, speak your mind today, though it may contradict everything you said yesterday. So you will be misunderstood. To be great is to be misunderstood. Look at Socrates, Galileo, Newton, etc. Why would you change your mind? Because you got new information. That's why I'm here. Okay? Hopefully people will learn some of the things and the suspicion that they have, those levels will come down because they see I'm an open book. I'll come back here again, Marty. You know, you can pile the questions on. I'm at any time, I'm willing to answer. Now,
did y'all hear that? Let's do an audio check. Let's do a mic check. This is after this. This is the second interview. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Did y'all hear that? Let's see if we can get some engagement in the chat real quick. Did y'all hear what Victor Conte said in that second interview? Some of y'all probably remember this, but I'm just asking. Greg, thank you. Greg said he heard it in the chat. Can I get some more engagement, please? And while y'all at it, come on, y'all know what to do. Hit the like button so the likes can be congruent with the views. We want YouTube to push this in the algorithm so that other people that's not here can watch the replay of this live and they can get educated. Class is in session. Did y'all hear that? Let me get some engagement in the chat. Let's do a mic check real quick. Did y'all hear what Victor Conte said when he talked about he'll come back here? That was the second interview. He'll come back on the channel. Did y'all hear him say that? Pile on all the questions. He's an open book. Jeremy Austin remembers this. And Jeremy said he also recalls what Victor said. Did anybody else hear that? I will play it again. Matter of fact, I'm going to play it again. I just want to make sure we clear. I want to make sure we have a clean audio mic check real quick. Did y'all hear that? I'm gonna run it right back real quick. Let me roll the tape again. I don't want no one to misinterpret anything I'm about to say. Let me run the tape one more again. So when people see these similarities from back then, let's say pre-Balco, and then even now, that raises more suspicious to you because there's certain things that didn't change about some of the things that you do.
Now, I wish we could pull it up, but we won't take the time to do it. But did you see the comment that I sent to you where I referenced Ralph Waldo Emerson?
Where was the comment at, on YouTube?
You didn't see it? What he basically said is, speak your mind today, though it may contradict everything you said yesterday. So you will be misunderstood. To be great is to be misunderstood. Look at Socrates, Galileo, Newton, etc. Why would you change your mind? Because you got new information. That's why I'm here. Okay? Hopefully people will learn some of the things and the suspicion that they have, those levels will come down because they see I'm an open book. I'll come back here again, Marty. You know, you can pile the questions on. I'm at any time, I'm willing to answer. Now, let's try to eliminate the repetition so we can be effective with both of our time. But all I'm trying to say is, people, if you get new information, you know, it's very easy for, it says, what does it say in the Bible? Do not judge according to appearances. Things appear a certain way.
Now, you know, you can't speak the Bible to the preacher now.
There's no there, okay? So everybody, there's a there. He's got to be doing something. I'm telling you, I'm suspicious. Oh, based on what? Based on them being uninformed is what I believe.
And also you can't, and also because the performances of the fighters that work with you has been enhanced. So that's another reason too, Vic.
Didn't Devin Haney say that it enhances performance is just without the drugs?
Huh?
Devin Haney said in the Netflix film,
yes,
what Victor's doing enhances performance, but it's just without the drugs.
That's what he said. I've used that reference time and time again, and people say that I was hating. So I'm glad you said that. That is correct. Two Cents Boxing had a question. Double salute to her again. Do you incorporate hydrogen in your training? If so, how?
The answer is no.
Okay. Cooking with Frank. Double salute to you, Cooking with Frank. Frank says, are any of the SNAC supplements known to cause bumps on a fighter's forehead at 36 years old?
You know, sometimes zinc, if you're low in testosterone, and if you're low and you correct that, then that is one of the side effects of increasing testosterone. So we have had cases of people taking ZMA where they may develop some acne.
And does that have anything to do with their age? Because he mentioned 36 years old.
You usually don't see acne on somebody 36, you know, even though I see a lot of boxers with acne all over their back and their neck and everything else. I don't think it's caused from repleting a zinc deficiency. I think it's more likely caused from using testosterone, but that's just my opinion.
You got it. Demetrius Bright, salute to you. Demetrius says, salute, looking professional, Manager Marty. Thanks for the continuation of this well-informed interview with Mr. Conte. I do have a question for you. Somebody's saying something about a wrench. I talked to you before about, hold on for 1 second. So let me just say this while I got you here. Let me clarify. Let me clarify a few things. Everything, let me say this because I know we have people here that want to make me out to be something that I'm not. So I'm going to say this while you hear, Vic, right to your face. Everybody that knows me know I stand 10 toes down. Everything that I said about, whether it be Crawford, whether it be Devin Haney, whether it be anything about Mr. Victor Conte, when they were not here, I asked the questions that I wanted to get the answers to. I've already asked them. I'm not acting different for nobody. Some people in the chat saying I'm being too nice to you, Vic. The bottom line is, whatever I can say privately, I can say publicly. Everybody that knows me know that anything that I said it already, and I'll say it while Vic is here. Everybody knows when I said the SNAC program works, I've been telling y'all that it worked. Most of you have been criticizing me, saying I'm hating on Terrence Crawford, saying that I'm just making stuff up because I wanted Errol Spence to win. Bottom line is, I know what I saw. I knew that performance enhancement. Now, hey, whether we got Victor here, he told us it was legal. People can say it's illegal. That's their opinion. You've never heard me even speak on that publicly because that's not my place. And we businessmen. The bottom line is that nobody can deny that the SNAC program works. I've been saying it for 5 months. So it's nothing different that I'm saying now that I said before. You know, the bottom line is people were trying to criticize me because they wanted Terrence Crawford to win, and he did win, and he won in dramatic fashion, and his performance enhancement worked because of all the fights that he was in since the SNAC program, and it works. And everybody else over there, it works. I'm saying the same thing that I've been saying. Y'all just didn't want to admit it and talk about the topic. And we're glad Mr. Victor's here so we can clarify.
Let me also chime in and say that the reason Terrence Crawford won that fight was not because of SNAC. Okay.
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard all of that. Y'all remember when that happened live? You know, most of you were here. Y'all remember that, right? Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page. Now, with that being said, because the viewership is increasing exponentially, with that being said, you can't find another content creator in the boxing community that have conducted research, nor as much research that I have with regards to performance enhancement in boxing, with regards to the SNAC program, with regards to VADA, or with regards to Victor Conte. You won't find nobody else. Most people didn't know too much about the entire history of Victor Conte, which is okay. And some people did. That's cool too. But no one besides me have married, and I use the term married, not in the sense of relationship. As far as when I say relationship, I don't mean it in a personal regard. I mean it in a professional regard. I married SNAC, VADA, and Victor Conte. I made the connection because Victor Conte has been making the connection with all three for over a decade and some change now. It's just the truth. Almost a decade and a half. So all I'm saying is, put some respect on the name. That's all. You know, because a lot of people were scared to even touch on that topic. Y'all remember that, right? There's people that didn't even want to talk about SNAC or Victor Conte or VADA. Some people didn't even want to discuss it. Wouldn't allow others to discuss it. Some people didn't know anything about it. And then they came over here and was exposed to my research and was exposed to my content. And then all of a sudden, they started talking about it. And I think that's also great too. But all I'm saying is, those same people did not put respect on the name because they didn't give credit where it was due. That's all I'm saying. I don't want no accolades from none of you all. I'm not asking for a pat on the back or any of those things. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to tell a story, tell the whole story. Because you can't even talk about VADA on YouTube. You can't talk about VADA without talking about the research that I've conducted. You just can't. You know why I can say that with a straight face? Because there's not another content creator who had Dr. Margaret Goodman, the founder and the executive director of VADA, on their channel before me. Not that I know of. I'm talking about the ones who are more famous and notable than I am. But the talking points that most have learned came from over here. I'm cool with it. Ain't no problem with it. For example, Boxing Ego. I didn't know too much about him, but he shouted me out. And most of you were here on a live when somebody in the chat said that a guy named Boxing Ego said my name on his live video when he was talking about Victor Conte, and based on the words that Victor Conte said about Errol Spence's altitude sickness. Y'all remember that? And then I didn't know too much about the brother Boxing Ego. But I pulled it up live and living color since people in the chat was telling me that they saw the video. I didn't see the video. And he gave me a shout out. That's respectable. So I salute Mr. Boxing Ego. But that was a while ago now. And then the guy Showbiz. I didn't know anything about him either. I was sent the video through text, and Showbiz, when I clicked on it, one of my homies sent me a clip and said, this guy gave you a shout out. I didn't know who he was. This was back in January? So yeah, I think it was back in January of this year. I clicked on the video, and the guy, Showbiz, he shouted me out for doing an interview with Victor Conte. So salute to Showbiz. I mean, I've already acknowledged these guys when it first happened, but I'm just using it as a reference because I'm not saying everybody has done it. You know what I mean? Hold on for a minute. My guy is here, man. Hold on for a minute. My guy is all the way here from DC, man. My homie's here. The family's here. Day one supporter, as always. DC Jeroy, what's going on, champ? I think you're on mute, DC.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing great, man. What's up with you?
Man, ain't too much. Just wanted to drop in and see what the vibe was like, per usual.
Oh, man, you know how it is. Mr. Greg is here as well.
What's up, Greg?
Got all my DC guys here. Where'd Mr. Greg just go?
Oh, he did a little cameo, huh?
He did a cameo, then he backed out. He'll be back, though. I know Mr. Greg personally. He'll be back. And then I'll let him back on. But no, basically what I was getting at was DC. You was here. You a day one supporter of the channel, a friend of mine, family member of the Roller Tape Film Crew. You were here when all that thing popped off with Victor Conte, and you know, you recall Mr. Greg is in the building. You recall that, and so I just wanted to put things in perspective because a lot of people are talking about the beef between Bill Haney, Ryan Garcia, and and Victor Conte. It's been ongoing, and so I wanted to get your thoughts now that you're here. I'm gonna get the thoughts of Mr. Greg and my guy from my hometown of Philly, Deem is here. I want to get you guys' thoughts before we get into Tank versus Lamont Roach and the venue change and the date postponement allegedly. And I want you guys' take on the whole debacle between Bill Haney and Ryan Garcia. But before I get that, I first want to know your thoughts, and I'll start with you first, DC. What do you think about the climate of VADA testing being talked about? What happened with Ryan Garcia testing positive for ostarine or small traces of ostarine? Other people have also popped dirty in the last year, including Better Beeve. We know he popped dirty for HGH, and we're talking about VADA testing. When Victor Conte was here, I made sure I played dumb enough so I can pull out all the information from him so that we all can be educated, Mr. Greg, on the real deal, that VADA is not, first of all, it's nothing random about VADA testing when they tell you on their website that the fighters get tested 8 weeks before a fight. There's nothing really random about that. And we also discovered, which I knew for the last 15 years, but I know the audience didn't know, that VADA doesn't administer any of the protocols, nor are they in control of the protocols or the procedures when it comes to testing the blood and urine, because they don't have any labs on their own, number one. Number two, the doping control officers, which we call DCOs, they are the ones who are contracted by VADA to go out and extract the blood and urine from the fighters, and then they ship it off to the WADA accredited labs. VADA is not involved in that process. So we recognize that they don't test the blood and urine of the fighters, nor do they collect it, nor do they ship it out. So they are the middleman, so to speak, and those, the word middleman was the word that Dr. Margaret Goodman, the founder of VADA, whom I had on this channel, she told me those words in an interview when I asked her about that. So I'm setting the foundation to say all of that to say, DC, that I've laid the foundation and conducted research on all of this way back when Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence was in negotiation, and then they fought, and then I told everybody, and I was one of the only content creators that said this, that Terrence Crawford's performance looked enhanced and he looked different when he fought Errol Spence. And my personal observation, I was heavily criticized on YouTube just by even speaking on that and then giving examples of why I believe in his last 3 fights since he was with SNAC, why he looked different. And then now we're still talking about that fight happened in July of 2023. And here we are almost in November of 2024, and Bill Haney is encouraging Ryan Garcia to do VADA. So I'm saying all that to say, I set the foundation. We are more educated now as a boxing community based on my research, and we're still talking about VADA testing and performance enhancement. I digress, DC Jeroy. What's your take on all of it, bro?
Yeah. So a couple of things. One, definitely can walk back to the Victor and even the Rick conversations when you had him on, right? But I want to thank you. Did it then, and still, it's necessary even today for being able to bring this topic to the table for discussion, right? And you're correct as far as content creators around the subject matter of boxing. Like I haven't heard anyone mention anything to the neighborhood of VADA testing prior to you, right? And so you were the one that placed it on my radar. Um, and it's caught like wildfire, right? And so what you've done is you've created the opportunity for people to have the discussions that need to be had. That's why we're still talking about it a year plus later, right? Um, and like all things, when when a situation is brought to light, and we can trace back to you take your pick, right? What you end up finding is pieces of truth start to show itself, right, and play out, which adds on, which kind of augments what was initially discovered and discussed. So, I'll say appreciate you for bringing it to light, um, for being the one to kind of kickstart this. I think what we're seeing is there's the residue is a result of something that you started. Now, the whole Victor Conte, and I know I don't want to go too far down the road because I know you'll circle back around, but it has always bothered me, and I know other people probably share the same sentiment. It's always bothered me that you hear Bill Haney talks about, how much he's an advocate and a champion for clean boxing and, um, you know, things of that nature. And we always go back to it, right? You're always going to be side-eyed when you are in cahoots and you go to start working with someone that's been known for cheating, right? And so you're going to be side-eyed. That's one thing. The other thing is the beef. Bill is an entertainer. He's doing things to keep some type of storyline or monologue going for the entertainment aspect. And those who don't watch boxing for the entertainment aspect and just watch it because of the appreciation for the science, um, don't necessarily appreciate what he's doing. And I guess I'll speak for myself, right? I could do without the theatrics, putting everything out on Front Street in the display. But I like to see if it's something that has credit, man, do like we do as men, right? Especially as he's supposed to be. Handle that behind the scenes, right? I know we in a today where everybody want to put everything in social media. Bill a little bit too old for that. So if there's some credit there, go ahead and handle that on the back street. But measure up, hold true to what you present yourself as. If you're a man, be that, handle your business, keep it from off the streets, and we can start having some discussions from there. Yeah.
Okay, good point. And I want to actually say you're welcome because you did thank me for all the research and all the things I've been doing to bring these topics to the forefront. So double salute to you, DC Jeroy. Mr. Greg, I'll get your take. Um, I'm sure you heard everything that I said before I went to DC Jeroy, so I won't repeat all of that
No
long
need.
monologue.
Right.
But what is your thoughts, Mr. Greg? I mean, we've been talking about, even if we exclude what my observation was or my opinion was about Terrence Crawford, just excluding him and Errol Spence. When you look at what's going on now, content creators, even Bill Haney, Ryan Garcia, what happened between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, they fought in April of this year. VADA testing has still, been around. Even after I had Dr. Margaret Goodman on the show, the founder of VADA, even after all the research I've conducted, and we're still not 100% clear on where people stand with regards to performance enhancement in boxing, illegal or legal. I'll leave that up to the experts. Mr. Greg, we're still talking about this, and it has become a problem, even in this Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney fight, something that I talked about a year prior to this happening. What's your take on all of this, Mr. Greg?
It's so many directions to go in on this, but it highlights how the sport is still a wild west, that there's not one unified or centralized way of regulating the sport, because we now can say, well, I can use this and it could work, but it may have a little touch of that's prohibited. And then we'll get into the debate about whether they were cheating, whether it was this much, whether it was 2%, 3%. I think I'm kind of starting to believe what's going to happen with so many incidents of someone popping dirty and then they trying to explain I was just using a supplement, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's going to open the door to outside federal investigation of some sort, particularly if there is a lot of money involved. Now, that could happen down the road, or it could even be someone who's studying it right now. So that's going to happen because sooner or later, somebody will say enough of this is enough, that has authority, and step in. I think what Bill Haney is doing, if what Bill Haney was doing, and I know a lot of it is theatrics, a lot of this is ego, a lot of it is to get attention. But if it was moving the sport further along, if it was making fights happen, it's tolerable. But it's not. All it's doing is causing more discourse, in my opinion, within the boxing world. These thought of, I know I want to say this right without causing somebody to get mad, but
Mr. Greg, you know I make everybody mad on this channel. This is what we do over here.
But just the thought of, we still have to have this conversation, and it's a good conversation, I think, to have, because it's not going to go away. And part of it, again, is because you have real boxing fans who want to see great competition. They don't want to see any or hear about anything that's saying, oh, he's cheated and this is the only way he's been able to get this far in the sport. So that's disheartening, not just for the fighter, but for everybody else as well to watch, because you can see great talent, but you think it's marred and it's scarred by some aspects of cheating. You have a guy like, again, Victor Conte, who has a reputation that's already damaged, and that damage is not going away. Even if he's doing something, and I think he has something that's worthwhile, the fact that it's him that has this worthwhile supplement or program, it's damaged the program just because of his reputation. Even if we can find that there was nothing that was illegal, you got somebody who has a reputation that has a diamond, but he's already soiled it because of who he is. So you're going to have people who are always going to look at certain fighters who have been on that program and immediately a suspicion is going to always, the black scar, the black mark or whatever, is already going to be on their head. And that's a shame, because it takes away from the beauty of what they could do in this sport. I wish that somewhere along the line that content creators could unify in some kind of way along these lines. I know that's very difficult, but in terms of all of them saying, listen, we want to help push the sport further, but y'all need to look at A, B, C, D, and E and fix it, not just talk about it, because what that does is it still has us debating with each other about these particular issues, where there should be an easy solution, or at least a unified solution that everybody can agree with. And that's going to be difficult too. But it's interesting that we're here in a new year, so to speak, but these issues keep popping up. And it's not just the one fighter, it's two fighters, it's three fighters, and it's different little, the ostrich. You got Beterbiev, I guess I'm saying this name correctly, who has that over his head, and now he's a unified, undisputed champion in his particular division, but now he also has a mark on him, the same as Terrence. He has a mark on him. So everybody keeps getting this same mark. So yeah, it's going to keep coming up, because we're going to ask, why is this still happening? You know, how are these guys getting these positions because of that, or is it something else? But until we get to that, I mean, y'all not doing anything wrong from my opinion. You're not doing anything wrong. I think it's fair that you bring it up, because it's there. If it wasn't there, you didn't make it up. You didn't cause anybody to do what they already have been charged with and what has been shown that they've done. But you do have to highlight it, because you want the sports to be right. You don't want somebody else stepping in and regulating the sport to the point where it's not even going to be any fun to watch anymore. Then you need to go ahead and fix the situation. So I think we should keep at least honestly talk about it, not attack each other. I don't think you deserve to have been attacked. Victor came on your show. You let him come on. And we stepped back. We got some questions that we gave you. He answered them. But we didn't do this to him. He did this in the very beginning because of what he did. So it's only fair that all of us, regardless of how we feel about different fighters, still ask those questions. And because now we still got to ask the guy, I'm sorry, Gary, cuss. We still got to ask the same questions again about other fighters. You're just wondering what is going on. So I would, like I said, the last thing I say, I just hate for it to turn into a federal investigation, and then who knows where that's going to lead. Last time it only led to, two main promoters getting fined, and one can't have any fights in Atlantic City, and nobody goes there anyway now. So it really didn't resolve anything. It didn't change anything. It didn't move the sport. And like I said, with Bill, if he was moving it forward, great, but he's not. So here we are.
Mr. Greg, you did, and I appreciate your take and your perspective as always. Before I get to Dean, you said something that perked my ears. You said content creators, and then you said unify. You said you said content creators, unity. You use those content creators and unity in the same sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a way that I've been talking about now for a year and a half for content creators to show unity and be on the same page. And that is if they let me promote the biggest event in amateur boxing history, where content creator versus content creator. Mr. Greg, I've been talking about this for a while. Because listen, we talk about boxing all the time. And we've had some beefs in the past with content creator versus a content creator. So I'm just saying, let the content creators get in the boxing ring and rumble it out. That's what that's what I say, Mr. Greg. There's the unity right there, brother. That's all I'm saying.
How long would it take for the fights to be made? Because
Hey, listen, it'll take longer than Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, because most of these content creators don't really know how to fight, and they ain't got no heart anyway. So it's gonna be, they're gonna play around with the negotiations. You know that.
That would make it very interesting, though. That if you and Blue Blood and Malachi and everybody else that I can think of would even have a panel that somebody outside on the outside could orchestrate. Y'all wanna debate that way, or y'all want to get in the ring and debate?
Man, listen, if I can get cleared by a doctor, I can promise you I will get back in the ring with any of them. Anybody that I ever had beef with on YouTube, Rick Glaser, Champ Side, BFTB, Blue Blood, what's the other one? Malachi. Hell, Rachel Donaire, they all can get it. All of them can get in the ring with me. It's all about entertainment, Mr. Greg and DC.
I know. Hey. I got a whole idea myself. Let 2 Cent be the referee.
Come on with it.
Let Rachel be one of the judges.
Come on with it.
Let some of us on the panel be the other 3 judges. Hey, and I know Deem is here. Deem can be your trainer. DC Jeroy can be somebody.
Let's get it on.
Stick me in the corner. Stick me in the corner with my man.
Let's get it on, baby. Hey, Deem.
Yes, sir.
Deem know what it is. He know I'm from Philly.
What's going on, Deem?
He know how it is. Deem, I don't want to belabor the point. I know when you first encountered this channel, you and we had a very, very small disagreement. And I know you remember it because it might be a part of your point that you're going to make today regarding the outside entities regulating to prevent cheating or prevent performance enhancement drugs that's on the banned substance list from even entering into the sport. And of course, shady people. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I know that's how we met on YouTube. We've been cool and close ever since.
Absolutely.
Bill Haney, a guy who used a lot of antics. Some of it's real, some of it's fake. Some of it is his ego, like Mr. Greg said. Some of it is he just trying to clout chase. Some of it is he just want to show people that he's really a gangster and a thug and an old head on the block. But he's talking about being an advocate now for clean boxing and trying to encourage Ryan Garcia to go through VADA testing when we all know that Ryan Garcia is suspicious of VADA testing, obviously because of their association with a guy who helped found or at least become an intricate piece to the puzzle of putting everything together in Victor Conte. I don't want to belabor the point, Dean, and then we'll go to paid in full. Dean, what's your take on all of this, man? We're still talking about this a year and a half after I presented all the information to all of you guys.
Man, I want to say this, man. Shout out to DC Jeroy, Mr. Greg. I just want to tell you I appreciate all your support. Man, I truly, truly do, Mr. Greg. Manager Marty, roll a tape, and we need answers. That's all I'm going to say. And if these content creators want to get in the ring and all that, sign Deem up. I'm more than willing. But I'll say this, man, like Manager Marty said, when me and Manager Marty first even encountered each other, this was my whole point. This was before everybody even knew that Victor Conte was part of the foundation of creating VADA. And that was my whole point back then. Forget the fighters, put the fighters to the side because fighters going to do whatever they got to do to get an upper hand. Yeah, you hold them responsible. They get suspended, blase, blase, blah. We all get that. But if they don't pop dirty, then what difference do it make? But the onus needs to be on the root of the problem. It is on VADA and WADA and USADA and all of them to make sure that they are responsible for when 2 fighters get in the ring in a sport that people die in every day, every year is multiple deaths in the sport of boxing. It is their responsibility to make sure people not dirty. How could that even be possible when you got a guy like Victor Conte who's in bed with VADA? They words, not mine. They got a close relationship. I didn't tell that lady to come on Manager Marty show and say the stuff that she said. I'm sorry. I didn't tell her to do that. But we already kind of knew. So how can you even trust anything that comes from VADA when Victor Conte, it's a conflict of interest? They part of the scheduling, right? That's what they do. They schedule it. Well, my thoughts is maybe they give the guy a heads up on when they scheduling or what they coming through or what they regulations is. That's a problem right there. It's going to be hard to pop a SNAC fighter when he knows all the ins and outs of the people that's supposed to be protecting the sport. Ryan Garcia is completely right for being suspicious. I'm suspicious. Anybody that's not with SNAC program is suspicious. Or are they a Devin Haney fan? This is where the onus needs to be at the root of the problem. There need to start being strict regulations. There need to be, first of all, VADA, the fact that they're not even the people that does testing, there's no need for them to be in the sport. There's literally no need for them to be in the sport. If all they doing is being a scheduler, then all WADA and USADA and these other people got to do is just hire somebody to do the scheduling. It's not that hard. And that's my biggest problem. I appreciate Manager Marty for bringing this to the world. And I'm glad that it came around, because how me and Manager Marty met is exactly my point today that it was then. And I'm glad that everybody's starting to see that now. Because if we can't even trust the people that's doing the testing, then please, y'all, we need answers. What's the point of the testing? And I'll leave it there.
Good point. Thank you for stopping the school bus right there, Dean. Always respect your perspective, my brother. Double salute to my guy, Andre Smith. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. We also got my guy here, my main man, Pots and Pans, Sin Ironheart is in the building. Before we get to Ironheart, because Ironheart remembers as well when, we was bringing up all these different things about the SNAC program. And matter of fact, that's how Ironheart even encountered the channel. He came right into the thick of all the things that you all have learned through my research. But before we get to Ironheart, I want to get Paid in Full on here. I think he's been up here a few times. Good to see him. Paid in Full. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, what's going on, Marty? Salute to y'all. Salute to the panel. What's going on, Dean?
Paid, what up, my guy?
What's going on? Yeah, Marty, again, I appreciate you as well, man, because, like, a lot of this stuff gets swept under the rug. A lot of content creators won't touch on things like this. So I got to take my hat off to you and salute you for that, man, because you definitely made a change and actually trying to make a change in the boxing community. And Ryan has every right to be suspicious of VADA just based on a couple of things. The close ties with Victor Conte. I don't even feel like he should even be in boxing, let alone sports in general. Just based on his history. That's cool. Okay, cool. You went to jail for what you did, but then don't come back out and talk about you try to be a changed man. No, I just feel like you became a smarter cheater. And not just only that, with Ryan being suspicious, along with Devin's little brother is saying that he was on the prayer matter and such this, such and such that, and heard that Ryan was gonna pop dirty and all this type of stuff. So I'm like, all these ties with Devin being a SNAC fighter and people saying little things like that, bro, you have every right to be suspicious of stuff like that. And why VADA out of every, like, you got USADA, and again, VADA don't even test anyone. So what is the purpose? Like, they're the middleman that's really not even needed. So it's a lot of suspicious when it comes to that. And if I'm Ryan, I would never go through VADA again.
That's a good point. And Ryan told Bill Haney this was the other day, after Bill Haney told Ryan Garcia to go through VADA, Ryan Garcia said, he asked Bill Haney in a tweet, he said, Bill, can't we use another anti-doping organization? Like, in other words, do we have to go through VADA? I don't mind giving up blood and urine, but why we got to go through VADA? Why are we pushing VADA? You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
And speaking of that, Ironheart, can you hear me, big dog?
Yes, sir. What's going on with everybody?
What up, Sin?
Hey.
Chilling, man. Hope everybody's doing well out there. You know what I'm saying? To the panel in the chat. Long time no see, everybody.
Absolutely. Now, listen, Ironheart. I mean, you were here when you first encountered this channel. You were in the thick of things with me. When you start seeing all of the layers of the onion, I was peeling back, to expose the real truth that has been hidden in plain sight, so to speak, when it comes to the relationship between Victor Conte, his program SNAC, and even his relationship with VADA. And you remember when I exposed the process of therapeutic use exemption, and we talked about that as well. What's your take on everything now? Because here we are a year and a half after I first opened the lid up on performance enhancement, still going on in boxing, and now here we are in the ending of October, and we see Bill Haney and Ryan Garcia both going through a beef on social media about VADA testing. And of course, this is months after the fight where Ryan Garcia had small traces of ostarine in his system, which was highly suspicious to me. But we're here now. Why are we still talking about this, man? What's your take on all of this?
Man, I think that overall, we're really to state the obvious. It's not even an I think thing. This is really just proven fact at this point that boxing has historically been a dirty ass sport, and it's very few people that really cover the matters, especially with that we have a lot of content creators and a lot of coverage that goes on YouTube with a lot of independent parties and people that's not necessarily bought out by media and bought out by their favorite boxers or whatever. It's a lot of people that have a fair opportunity to get their voices out and cover matters that most media would not cover, especially those people that's closer to the organizations, closer to the fights, and all of that good stuff. But now the eyebrow has been raised. You've cracked the lid on a very major part on the corruption, because I think that Victor Conte is the equivalent of El Chapo when it comes down to this performance enhancement thing. Like I said, I wouldn't have known of him if I didn't come across your content first, and then I watched other people, give their perspective as well. But a lot of them were piggybacking off of the things in conversation. In fact, pulling up your channel directly on their little documentaries and whatnot. So I think the sport would be a lot better if we get that sore spot out of there. If we get just Victor Conte alone, if we just get him out of the sport, some of the integrity of the sport and the integrity of what we see on these boxing networks will be restored. I also think that a greater issue, well, not a great, I won't say a greater issue, but an equivalent issue that we have right now with recent fights is that we had horrible judging. I don't know who the hell's doing the judging for these fights now, but I think that it's at the point where it should only be like former coaches, Hall of Famers, Hall of Fame fighters, and Hall of Fame coaches that should be allowed to judge. I think that if you do not partake in the sport, that there's some sort of conflict of interest going on, and we can't really trust all of these people who leave their opinions and is also compromising the integrity of what we see when we clearly see that one fighter dominates in efficiency, one fighter dominates in effective punching, and then for all of their hard work to get erased by a bad decision, especially by somebody who does not know what it takes to even win a fight. Some of these people won't even fight a cold, Marty, and and to see everybody's efforts just get washed under the rug, it's disheartening, and it really highlights the level of corruption in combat sports. And man, combat sports being a blood sport where everybody puts their lives on the line is a horrible disservice and injustice to anybody that participates.
Very well stated. DC, you want to go ahead, DC?
I want to ask you a question, if you're okay with that.
Is that me or Ironheart?
For you,
Okay.
Coach, my brother Marty.
All right.
Go ahead. Got me about to call you Coach. So we know we're on the subject of doing something to clean up and improve the sport, right? On that subject, from your experience in being involved in boxing at the level that you've been in, what would you say, with the knowledge that you have, is the reason why the actions haven't been taken to clean the sport up, right? There has to be, like, why not, right? It's been talked about for some time now. I'm 50 years old, so I've been hearing it as long as I've been around boxing, almost 50 years. What do you think is preventing someone from stepping in? Politics, financial gain. What would you say the reasoning is, if you would or could?
That's a very good question. I think it's twofold. First, we got to start at the foundation, like I always do with everything else. I have a friend of mine, and we've been friends for over 30 years. And a little over 10 years ago, he talked about his dislike for boxing. He'll watch it every now and then, but he is not a major fan of boxing. And one day, I said to him, this is over 11 years ago, I said, why don't you like boxing? I know you watch it every now and then, but why don't you like boxing? And his exact words to me was, boxing is the worst regulated sports ever. He said, boxing is the worst regulated sports ever. And I turned to him and I said, I would have to disagree with you. I said, I would have to disagree that boxing is the worst regulated sport. Boxing is the only non-regulated sport. And we both laughed about it. But that's the foundation of why I believe the sport is the way it is. One of the main reasons, when we talk about so much saturation of performance enhancement drugs being allowed, there is no regulation for it. And I know that sounds like it's cliche, but if you go through each major state here in the United States, there's federal regulations, right? There's federal regulations that prohibit illegal substances being used in sports in general that's being regulated in that state. However, you can't put regulation on something that can't be caught. And so when you have manufacturers, and I can include SNAC because they're a manufacturer, major manufacturers, and I'm only including them because I'm saying SNAC is a manufacturer of supplements, right? There's certain ingredients that the average citizen and consumer do not know what's in those ingredients, honestly speaking.
Sure.
And I'm the one, as a content creator, and you know I do extensive research, no one else pulled this out, this fact, that there is no regulation when we talk about the Food and Drug Administration here in America. There is no regulation on supplements. The FDA do not approve supplements in this country. You can go on their website and the FDA will tell you that. And it's and just that fact alone, since we're talking federal and state law and regulation, just the fact alone that FDA can't even regulate or even approve any supplements that's being manufactured in the country, it allows an open gate for scientists and people who know the ins and outs of ingredients and mixing banned substances with regular ingredients. It's almost like another drug mixed with cocaine. I don't want to say the ingredients, but it's like cocaine and baking soda, right? And it's basically the same thing when you talk about performance enhancement drugs, especially being inserted into these supplements. The FDA do not approve it because they can't regulate it. So that's one, because that's a way that you can really inject illegal substances and taint and contaminate these supplements and get away with it. And then tell somebody, look, read the back of the supplements, and on the drug facts, it tells you all the ingredients in there. But you're not a scientist. You really don't know, as an average consumer, whether or not those are the ingredients that's being used. And on top of that, I have to include this because this is as even important to my first point. If you have people who are knowledgeable on how to make sure these substances are underneath the threshold of being alerted by certain drug tests, where an athlete can take a supplement and or cream or clear or any other form or method of performance enhancement being injected in their body. Well, if they know the protocols and the procedures of testing, I'm talking about the smart cheaters, if they know that, which most of them do, then now not only do the athlete, in our case the fighter, not only are they able to receive the benefits of the illegal substance, but they also receive the benefit of not getting caught even when they're following the testing protocols. Because now these substances, some of them are undetectable. And according to the expert himself, Victor Conte, he told us that HGH is undetectable. That he said L1R3 undetectable. What was the other one that he named that was undetectable? Oh, this is right on the tip of my tongue. It gives you that endurance you need in the later rounds. I did a whole segment on this.
I can't remember.
I think
Yeah,
C.
Huh?
I think it begin with a C. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm the
can't think.
research guy. Thank you. Somebody said it in the chat. Cash Crypto said it. IGF-1 LR3, undetectable. Human growth hormone, undetectable, right? You have all these undetectable substances that even if a fighter takes a performance enhancement and then turn around and take a test, well, there is no way that you can tell if the person's cheating or not. And according to Victor Conte, speaking of IGF-1 LR3, and I have the evidence to prove it, if anybody want to challenge me or fact check, he said, his words not mine in the tweet, smart cheaters know how to circumvent VADA testing. That's what he said. So when you got a guy like Victor Conte publicly acknowledging that smart cheaters know how to circumvent VADA testing, and then he's the one who helped form VADA, and then most of the fighters that do very, very extremely well in their fights are under his program, it makes it look even more suspicious. So that's my first point. There's no regulation for it, and the FDA can't and won't approve it. And my second point is, yes, it has a lot to do with money. It keeps the money flowing in and out of the hands of those people who can really turn a blind eye every time somebody do pop dirty, and every time somebody is taking something that won't pop dirty, but they won't say anything about it, because there's a lot of investment going into some of these fighters. Some of the top fighters, most of the top fighters really are signed to major promoters. And I'm not saying that the promoters are in on the scam, but what I'm basically saying is, even if the promoter discovered that one of their fighters test dirty or pop dirty for a banned substance, most of the time the promoter won't just say, well, we're gonna discard this fighter. We're not gonna promote him anymore. Because if you go and look at Conor Ben, didn't he test positive for a banned substance? Well, Eddie Hearn is still promoting him. Hey, they say Ryan Garcia tested positive. It was small traces of ostarine. I believe that the supplements were tainted or contaminated, but that's just my opinion. But Ryan Garcia tested positive for a banned substance. You didn't hear Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy say they're going to discard him, and the list goes on and on. And I have to bring this up because Andre Berto, he also tested positive. I gave y'all the evidence last year, but Andre Berto tested positive in 2012 for a banned substance known as nandrolone. And guess who was in his camp when he did that? Victor Conte. Willie Monroe Jr. tested positive for a banned substance. Guess who was in his camp? Victor Conte. The list goes on and on and on. And so all I'm saying is there is no regulation for it. The federal Drug Administration here in America do not approve supplements. They can't. So it's easy for manufacturers to basically sprinkle illegal substances and mix it into real life ingredients that do work, that makes the supplements work. But guess what? There's no regulation for it. And on top of all that, there's a lot of money to be made when you have somebody who a promoter is investing in that run through a lot of fighters, look really, really good in doing so, and then everybody make money. The network make money. The promoter make money. The fighter make money. The manager make money. Whether we know that a fighter's cheating or not, the bottom line is too much money on the line. And I'm not saying that we can't change it, but it's a hard, hard fight in a tall glass of milk. And I hope I answered your question, DC.
You did. I see Greg. You on
You
mute,
on
brother?
mute, Mr. Greg?
Okay. I was going to also say, to go further, our society is fueled by drugs. If you look at the commercials, we got a drug to make you think faster that you can buy. You got a drug that makes you run faster, makes you do all of these things. And the average person can go to their doctor or sometimes even go to their local pharmacist to get those drugs right over the counter. So it's not, I get it. And we understand that there are performance and drugs that are targeting sports activities. But overall, some of the drugs that are outside of that purview can also find its way into the world of sports as well. Then we have the exceptions that, when you are you low on testosterone, or you have a certain kind of deficiency, that, okay, we'll make an exception for you to use this drug that we normally ban, but because we see you have that issue, you can have it. All I have to do every time I'm fighting is saying, hey, I need to have that particular drug for this issue, but it also helps me when I'm fighting. I mean, I'm not going to tell that part, but that comes into play here. Right. So those are some of the things to it. Like Marty says, as long as there's enough money on the table for everybody to get, particularly a promoter and the fighter and the manager, that's where the problem is going to be at. And that's why I said sooner or later, it's going to be outside investigators with authority who are going to step in, because there then going to be new suspicions. Well, is money being washed through this sport like it used to be before? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but the question will get raised. And part of that question will be because we're talking about performance enhancing drugs that are having some fighters win fights and millions of dollars being generated. So let's see if there's something else there. And again, like I said, because we can get drugs for everything now.
What you were going to say, DC? Good point, Mr. Greg.
No, I appreciate both of you all's view and response, right? And so the reason I asked that question, because I wanted to take the ladle and reach down to the bottom of the pot and stir it up, right? And so we're having conversations around what needs to be done. My thought process is this, right? So on a day-to-day basis, Marty, Greg, and panel, right? I have a responsibility to think about things at work that most people don't, right? And so I raised that question because while we were sitting here talking, I'm thinking to myself, it would be crazy for me to think that there hasn't been a thought process, and now we're dealing with the results of a blatant and a direct decision being made to not clean the sport up, right? And for those reasons. And so, Greg, you were talking about, at some point the questions to be asked, is money being filtered, laundered through? It has always been, right? And so the answer to that question is absolutely, right? We know that what was always intriguing to me is when the book started picking up fights, and now you got Vegas involved, right? From the spread, we know when that aspect is added, we know with that what dynamic that brings to the discussion. But I guess to close or to land a plane, my thought process is there has been the diligence put into evaluating and investigating if it's beneficial to clean the sport up in the way that we're talking about versus let it continue to fly and operate the way that it has. And there's been a conscious decision to say, let's stay the road that we're on. And so while we can all agree that there's something that needs to be done, I'll contend this. Nothing has been done because it's not financially feasible to do something different than what we
Can I say this, y'all? The part I got a problem with, we all been in relationships, we all got homies, homegirls, the whole time, right? The biggest part that should make everybody suspicious of SNAC program Victor Conte is I heard Victor Conte come up here and tell manager Marty why he was suspicious of Manny Pacquiao. Hey, y'all, what's the first thing somebody do when you catch them cheating? Or they know that they're cheating, but they ain't get caught yet. They accuse the other person of cheating. They get very suspicious because they got a guilty conscience. My question is, how can Victor Conte say it only take 3 fights for me to tell if somebody's very suspicious and should be sitting up there, and I think that they taking PEDs, but be the same person that get mad, want to yell and scream, want to come out here and be so, I'm clean. If you could be suspicious of other people, how are you mad people are suspicious of you? When last time I checked, I don't know Manny Pacquiao to get to pop dirty and all of that stuff. But you are a known cheater, and you got the audacity to be upset. Bill Haney, Devin Haney, Terrence Crawford, that somebody is questioning them. That's the part that I know is something funny. Because if you could be Victor Conte and sit in your chair and say, oh, it took me 3 fights to be very suspicious of Manny Pacquiao. But then when somebody does the same exact thing to your fighters and point it back at you, hey, Manager Marty, what you say your mom used to say? Every time that you point in one finger, you got 3 pointing back at you. And then when you try to be so defensive in that, as if there's no possible way you could be doing that, that let me know everything I need to know. See, we make things harder than it gotta be, y'all.
Yeah, we complicate things.
We complicate things a lot. You ain't gotta. I could tell. Put it like this, yo. We all had conversations with people, and you ask them a question. You can look them in their eyes and their response and know they lying. Victor Conte, before Manager Marty came out, a lot of these suspicions been out about SNAC program, but it wasn't until Manager Marty was putting that they feet to the fire, let them step on them hot coals. Oh, you want to find your way up on the channel now? You can find the head of VADA and all that. Why they ain't been on no other programs? You know why? Because they ain't putting their feet to the fire about it.
They were uneducated, and I believe that most of the people who Victor Conte went on their platform, including the guy Malachi, because he went on there a few weeks before he came up here, and it goes to the point that Foxy, salute to Foxy in the chat, Foxy Brown 331, and I put it on the screen. She said this, and I agree with her. I believe, and it's on your screen right now, I believe, Manager Marty, when Victor Conte came to your show, he thought you were uneducated. And I agree with that, totally. I believe that a lot of people underestimated my education and knowledge on performance enhancement, including Victor Conte's life and his journey and everything else that's been going on in boxing. I've been conducting research on this for 15 years. I just kept my mouth shut. And then when Victor came on, my work speaks for itself. But I do believe that people were uneducated. And on top of that, they don't want their YouTube channel to get shadow banned like mine's been shadow banned for the last 8 or 9 months. So, of course, they want to, protect their bag and their revenue. And I get it because most of them do it full time. And we got to keep it all the way real, Demon. I'll get to the super chat. Some of these guys, on YouTube, they didn't even want to talk about the SNAC program. They didn't want to talk about VADA. They definitely didn't want to talk about Victor Conte. And so now that I've opened up the floodgates, I made it more convenient and comfortable for people to stop hiding now and join me in the fight and being the real anti-doping advocate. Because Victor called himself the anti-doping advocate, and he's been doing this since he got out of jail for over a decade and a half, and I haven't seen him advocate or change anything yet. But before we get to the next point, DC, let me get this super chat that's been sitting for a minute, and I apologize to Mr. Altruistic. Double salute to you. Thank you for your super chat. And Mr. Altruistic says, y'all cooking, Marty. Been watching since the Spence versus Crawford. Much respect to you and Dean. Stay on their neck. This live is on fire. Double salute to you and thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel.
Appreciate that.
We have NHA up here. Haven't seen him in a while, and most of you probably forgot who he is, but he's an avid. I'm talking about avid. I would say he's on the same level as Mr. Greg as far as how much he loved, Terrence Crawford. But the difference between me, NHA, and Mr. Greg is a little bit more realistic. And so I respect you, NHA, and it's good to see you, bro, because we go back and forth, man. What's going on with you, big dog?
What's the word with it, man? Good to be back in the panel, man.
Yes, sir. What's up, man? The
So,
floor is yours. Talk to me.
yeah, as rightfully said, I'm an avid, big Terrence Crawford fan, but I'm a fan of a lot of fighters. I'm a fan of Boots. I'm a fan of Caleb Plant. I'm a fan of Mario Barrios.
Hey, NHA, I don't
Clarissa
want to cut you off.
Shields.
I don't want to cut you off. I have to do this because I don't want the audience to get lost. Just say you fans of every fighter on the SNAC program except for Boots, bro. Just go on and tell us. Just go on and tell us all the SNAC fighters you love them. Just go on and tell them except for Boots because he ain't on.
These fighters haven't been in a SNAP program.
But they are on
It's
the
not a
SNAC program.
coincidence.
All of them was
Maybe that's a coincidence. Maybe that's a coincidence. Boots.
All right.
But no. If I can get serious though, but yeah. See the problem. Okay, Victor is viewed as the problem, right? But without the fighters, Victor is not in boxing. If these fighters are willing and participant in the SNAC program, we can bark on Vic. We can he's the devil. He's the bile of all what's wrong with boxing. But as long as he has these fighters in their program, we're gonna keep SNAC program is gonna be in full force in boxing. So let's put some pressure on these other fighters, not named Devin and Bud. And maybe we might get somewhere. Maybe we might get somewhere.
Not Devin and Bud.
They on the SNAC program with Victor Conte.
They're the most notable names.
I understand what you're saying, but I said let's put the pressure on these other fighters.
Why?
Besides Devin and Bud.
NHA,
you get rid of.
Hey, NHA, real quick. When I put pressure, because I agree with you, don't put all the pressure on Victor Conte. I'm with you. But when I was putting pressure on Terrence Crawford, you were one of the main ones that came up on my panel criticizing me, bro. Which one is it? Did you change? Did I convert you? Come on now, talk to me, brother.
I just wanted you to keep it balanced, because it just seems like your problem was with Terrence Crawford more than it is with Victor Conte.
No, but Manager Marty has spoke on Caleb Plant and Bam Bam Rodriguez. I've seen him do it. He just did a live about Caleb Plant a couple weeks ago.
Right. I spoke on Bam Bam.
So one out of like 1,000 shows compared to Bud.
I've been speaking on all these guys.
God.
I mean, who has the most success on the SNAC program? We got to aim for the top floor so everybody that's underneath that's following their lead can get the message that if we aiming for this guy, if we notice that y'all at the top is doing it, then we know why the hell everybody else is piling up underneath those fighters. So focus
on two guys and let the other guys quote unquote cheat.
Nobody's letting Bam Bam Rodriguez for Caleb Plant go.
I mean, what y'all mean? What we talking about?
Manager Marty just did a live on Caleb Plant a week ago.
I get it, Dean. He did a live a week ago. But then
I'm a fan of Bam Bam Rodriguez. Every time I talk about Bam Bam Rodriguez, I put this out there. I'll be like, but I'm very suspicious of him because he in the SNAC program. I think he a great fighter. Hell of a fighter. Matter of fact, NHA, I'm from Philly. He about to be the co-main event. I'm going to go watch him November 9th. Don't mean I ain't suspicious just because I like him. Don't mean that I agree with him being on the SNAC program. Don't mean that I
I
think
don't,
him fighting at 118 and then he's blowing up to be 133, 132 on fight night is not highly suspicious. We put the pressure on those guys, but
I'm
it
sorry.
doesn't exclude
I
Devin
can't
or
support
Crawford.
any. If I suspect somebody of doing something dirty, you ain't getting no support from me whatsoever. I mean, some other people might operate differently. I just don't. If I feel you dirty or you a slime ball or you a racist or whatever, I don't care how great you are. Your support for me is done.
Then
Now
why do you
I
support
can't.
Terrence Crawford then?
I don't because I don't suspect he's doing anything.
So you
That's
don't
why.
think Victor Conte is
No.
a cheater?
Do I? Is Victor Conte fighting?
That's
Is
not what I
Victor Conte
asked
a
you,
boxer?
brother.
Not doing anything.
That's not what
Do
I
I
asked you,
think
brother.
Victor Conte? Yes, he has been convicted of dealing it with
NHA, are you
steroids. Yes.
suspicious of Victor Conte now? Is my question.
No, I'm not.
Why?
He has to give me a reason for me to be suspicious. Just like if you
SNAC
if
fighters
you
have
got out
popped
of jail.
dirty. That's not enough reason.
I got too many relatives and shit. That's as convicts. I can't just be around just blatantly. It's like I got a suspicion of him
What?
every single time I be around him.
Hey, NHA, can I ask you something? You got relatives
Yeah.
that's a convict, right? Has any of them been to
Yep.
jail for robbery?
Yeah.
Can they be the manager at a bank, no matter if they change their life or not?
I mean, if a bank decides to hire him, yes, they
No,
could.
NHA, don't do this, brother. NHA,
Don't do what?
you know damn well that if you go to jail for robbery, you can never be the manager of a bank, nowhere in
Okay,
America.
but can you own your own bank?
Maybe,
If
but
you been
how do you?
all right
Maybe,
then.
but how
So
do
you
you
can't
do that?
so those two things can't be compared. So Victor Conte runs his own company. Victor Conte ain't worried about being hired by no other guy, no
No,
other
but guess what?
organization or
NHA
whatever.
ain't boxing a sport. It's a sport,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Why Victor Conte's not allowed in any other sport? So why doesn't that
Yes,
make
he
you
is.
suspicious?
He's allowed. He's not banned from no sports.
Yes, he is banned from baseball, basketball, football. You don't got
He's not
he don't got
banned.
no snack
He
athletes.
said out his own mouth, those athletes avoid him like the plague.
They
If a
avoid him.
baseball
But that don't
player
mean
has
he's
the
banned.
wits, if a
But
baseball
let's put
player has the
let,
wits, hold on. If the
mhm.
baseball players and the basketball players have the wits and the sense to avoid this man because of his reputation, what reputation is a top tier, allegedly top tier boxer contacting him for? What's the reputation
I
that
don't
they're using
know.
for? Is it not the same reputation?
Why did Boots reach out to him?
Why did Boots reach out to him? I don't know. I'm saying,
There
Boots
you
but
didn't
go.
reach out to him. Victor
Obviously, he's
Conte
doing
reached
something
out to
good.
Boots.
just doing something good.
Obviously,
You said
he's doing something good for people.
Victor
Why is
Conte
Caleb
said
playing
he
with him?
reached out to Boots.
Why
It's not
all
by
these
it's
talk?
vice
Why all
versa.
these? I'm just saying, he still work with him. Boots could have said, "Nah, I'm good. You a known cheater. Oh, you this and that."
But hold on,
Nah,
NHA.
nah.
He
Yep.
did what we telling all the other fighters that did do. Boots is not
Why?
associated with Victor Conte.
Because he got a better deal with OnlyFans or whatever it is. We already know
So you
that.
think Terrence Crawford, that was already a champion in his 30s, reached out to Victor Conte for nothing?
now, and he said out his own mouth what he reached out to Victor Conte for.
I know. I just
So
want to
like
see what
we
NHA gonna say.
He reached out to him the same reason why the mother fighters reached out to him.
What reason is that?
Whatever,
is
whatever
it
he's
because
doing is working out for him and these other
trying to
fighters.
clean up the sport, or is it because he has a reputation that says the entire opposite? Which reputation is it? Is it because he's a reformed man, or is it because he's been known to compromise the integrity of the careers of over 30 athletes? Not one, not two, not three, not 10, not 20. We can name 30.
I'm not the fighter. So you basically saying these fighters that work with him, they just pure dumb.
They're
You
not
know better
necessarily
than
dumb.
them.
They might be. They
No, no,
could
no.
be
You know
pure
better than
dumb.
them.
Hold on.
You know
They
better
could
than
be.
them. Is what you're saying. You
They
know
could be
better than
pure
Caleb
dumb.
Plant. You know better than Bam. You know better than so. You're
No.
saying they.
I know better.
So you think they
I just
cheated
know
then?
I just know I'm smart enough not to be fooled. Can't nobody play me for a dummy.
So
Hey,
they
NHA.
fools.
NHA.
Are they
Go
fools?
ahead.
Let me quick question. Well, let me try to shift just for a second or two because there was two things that I wanted to kind of circle back around. NHA, you said that Victor Conte is the problem. I wanted to push back a little bit on that. I don't think he's the problem. I think he's a symptom,
I
right?
I didn't say he's a
So,
problem, but I get
well,
what you're
earlier
saying.
you, earlier when you were talking to when you were talking to Marty, you had mentioned you said, well, Victor Conte is the problem, and you were using it in context of putting more pressure, more weight on a fighter. And so what I would say is I think he's the symptom, right? And so the fighter realizes that there's something that I'm lacking, there's something that I need more of, there's something that
There
I
we
would
go.
like to see change, there's
Boom,
something da
zap.
da 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 da. And so as that's the problem, right? Fighters wanting or believing or thinking that they need to do something different. Where does that difference come in from? Victor Conte, i.e., the symptoms. So I just wanted to touch on that part. The other part is I heard someone, I think it was you as well, NHA, that you were talking about, um, fighters being heavier come the night of the fight.
Not me.
Unfortunately, all of and I'm a
That was
boxing fan,
Dean.
but okay, Dean. And so all of them do that, right? Like I think you hear about weight bullies, you hear about these fighters that are shrinking themselves down. It's always an interesting thing, man, that the fight game has changed because of what's called the glamour divisions. But at one point in time, you had cats that were more prone to fight their natural, closer to their natural weight than these cats that are shrinking down 30 pounds and then come the night of the fight. So I would just wanted to add that we see that across the board, Reverend Devin Haney, Reverend Spence, uh, and the name goes on, right? And so those were two points that I wanted to kind of underscore before before we start going rogue. So
But
I'll go ahead and leave it there.
I appreciate it, DC. Real quick, NHA, since we're talking about the fighters, right? You were talking about the onus, should be on a fighter. So give us your take real quick. Bill Haney and Ryan Garcia, they've been going back and forth, beefing, back and forth through social media. Bill Haney is pressing Ryan Garcia to go through testing with VADA, and he's trying to galvanize the social media community to get behind him to criticize Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia asked Bill Haney in response, can we go to another organization except for VADA? And that's because of his suspicion with VADA. And he's been talking about his suspicion with VADA and Victor Conte way before the fight between him and Devin Haney. And now we're still talking about it. So give me your take real quick on that whole debacle, because there's controversy around Bill Haney, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia testing positive for small traces of ostarine. All this is happening, and Victor Conte is in the mix because he obviously is the quote unquote strength and conditioning coach for Devin Haney. What's your take on all that, real quick, NHA?
I mean, Ryan definitely. I mean, you get popped for. I never heard of a boxer getting popped for some steroids and be so reluctant to even get enrolled in any type of anti-doping agency. I don't care if it's VADA, I don't care if it's USADA or whatever, but it's like I think a lot of people are giving Ryan a pass just because one, they they don't like Haney, and two is because how Haney been acting since he took that L. But at the end of the day, the man, once you pop dirty, I'm not gonna say that's the reason why you won or whatever but you pop dirty. So the right thing to do is to show the people, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I'm clean moving forward. Yeah, Bill Haney could suggest he goes, but Bill Haney can't dictate nothing to him. So I would like to see Ryan being enrolled in some type of year-round drug testing, just like similar to like the pressure everybody put on anybody else to get popped. When Canelo got popped, everybody demanded he enrolled in some type of anti-doping year-round thing, and he did that. I don't understand why is not the same pressure being put on Ryan. And see, Ryan get to say all type of crazy stuff. He get to, what I'm saying, act a fool, and everybody kind of either give him a pass or be like, oh no, it's not that serious. Like, I don't understand it. So, I mean, I can't stand Bill either, but at the
NHA,
same
can I
time,
ask you this? Do you know what
yeah.
ostarine even does?
Do I know? Do I know what oxygen does? Yeah, what is it? Help me cut weight. But let me ask you a question. Is it a banned substance?
Yeah, it's a banned substance.
Yes. All right then. That's it.
Okay, so then
You
when
got
I
called for
ask
banned
you, right,
substance.
you talking about he should be in year-round testing and all of this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
But that's only because he beat Devin. He's not the first guy to pop dirty. Oscar Valdez ain't in year-round testing. What did nobody feel bad when nobody felt bad for Oscar Diorte? Yo was not defending Oscar Diorte the same way when he said he thought that Ryan Garcia was on PEDs. Wasn't nobody sitting up there talking about, oh, we suspicious of Ryan? I didn't hear not one person make a video in defense besides myself about Oscar Diorte. So what it seems like to me is y'all only care that much about Ryan, even though bodybuilders, professionals, medical professionals say 1 billionth of ostarine is not going to have an effect on a fighter. But y'all throw that out. Ryan didn't get
You sound like you defending Ryan more than anything.
Brother. No,
I
I'm
don't
going off
understand
of
this.
facts. Hold on, brother. I'm going off of facts. Ryan did not get suspended for PEDs. Ryan got suspended for not bringing in all of his supplements on time. That's what he got suspended for. Canelo Alvarez actually got suspended for PED use. Conor Ben actually got suspended for PED use. Oscar Valdez actually got suspended for PED use. So when you got professionals, medical professionals that me or you or not say that they think it's a high level chance that it was contaminated, why shouldn't I give Ryan Garcia the benefit of the doubt? Can I just bang the gavel on a man when the New York State Commission ain't do that?
Exactly.
So you gonna give the man that who blatantly
I didn't give him anything.
misses
The New
weight.
York State Commission
You
did.
just said why shouldn't I give him a doubt?
No, I
That
said
man blatantly
why should I bang the
disrespects
gavel on
everything
him?
about boxing. He comes in overweight. He
Devin
violates.
Haney
You know what I'm
came
saying?
in
What do you
overweight
do?
against Regis
You
Prograis.
brought I ain't no Devin Haney fan either, so I'm
But
not defending
but
what
you
Haney
didn't
did.
argue for Devin. You didn't feel bad for Regis when he was saying this
How you know? How
prior.
you know what I don't feel? What I didn't
Because
feel
I
for
could
Regis.
tell
How
from the
you
way
know?
you talking right now.
How
So you about to
now
sit
Regis
you
up here
and
and
mind?
tell me
Lomachenko.
I'm
you
asking
came
Regis
on
and
Manager
you.
Marty
Lomachenko,
We got
program.
definitely.
mind readers and everything up in
So,
there.
All right,
and they
look,
say, can
let's
I ask
bring
you a
it back.
question?
Hold on, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, right? So we, oh man, you know what it is. I know what's happening right now. I miss y'all and y'all miss me. This is the first time live in living color. We've been back on the panel for months. And that's what it is, y'all. I love this type of dialogue. So here's the thing. So it sounds like to me that NHA and Deem have the same point of the topic of the discussion with regards to Bill Haney and Ryan Garcia. I heard y'all say some of the same things. Now, what I also want to do equally, I want to get this super chat out because Boxing Hacker is in the background. I actually want to let him on the panel. I can't have more than 6 on the panel right now. I'm going to upgrade and all this crazy stuff. But I want Boxing Hacker to come up because he has provided another perspective. And Boxing Hacker and I, we kind of disagree on some things and we agree on other things. And I want to give him an opportunity to come on up. He's in the back. So what I'm going to do, NHA, I'm going to have you step back. I'm going to have Boxing Hacker come up because I want to publicly acknowledge his super chat. You cool with that, NHA?
For sure, man.
All right.
I can play the black round.
All right, and if we have more time, and you're still back there, I'll let you come on because there's somebody else that's in the back, and I want to let him on too.
No.
So I
I'm good.
appreciate you.
I'm good. I'm gonna log on because I got some shit I gotta do anyway. Excuse my language.
Mo, you all good. I appreciate you coming up, man. Listen, we'll be back up here. If not Monday, definitely Wednesday. So make sure you come on back, brother.
All right, I'll keep listening though if I can.
All right, you got it, my guy.
Hey, brother
All right,
Marty,
easy.
Yes, sir.
I read Boxing Hackers comment, and I definitely want to be on the line, right? Because
Yeah, stay right there, DC.
yeah,
We got him here. Hey, hold
Hey,
on,
salute,
Boxer
guys.
Hacker. Stay right there. Let me
I'm
give him
here.
the proper acknowledgement that he deserves for supporting the channel. Double salute to my guy, Boxing Hacker. He is a member of the family. I gotta say he's a member of the family because you don't get along with everybody in your family, Mr. Greg. You know that. You can invite your family to the cookout when they come. Sometimes they grab a plate and aluminum for you. They pack up some food and then they leave. But Boxing Hacker is not a part of our family to come in, pack the food up and leave. He always gives his perspective and he's donating to the channel. So I wanted to make sure I give him the proper introduction and double salute to him for his contribution and the support to the channel. I'm gonna leave his super chat up there after I read it. I want to hear your take on it, Boxing Hacker, while you live and live in color. And then DC, you can respond and we'll go around. So double salute again to Boxing Hacker. Thank you for your support, Boxing Hacker, and your contribution to the channel. Boxing Hacker says Victor was a career criminal turned advocate. Nothing wrong with that. Some of the best cybersecurity experts were once black hat hackers. So your name has the word hacker in it. So Boxing Hacker, what do you mean by the things that you said in your super chat, my brother?
Yes. Well, salute to you, Manager Marty, and chat and the panel. So when it comes to like, well, I mean, first of all, there are 3 types of hackers, right? There's gray hat, which are hackers that commit crimes, but they also like, they try to help, like show like vulnerabilities to companies. The white hat hackers who are just like, the good guys, the good hackers. They try to like fight against the black hats. The black hats are the criminals, the ones that break in to do things. And one thing you know from, if you know how the U.S. government works, they've hired in the past some of like the worst black hat hackers, and they became advocates. They helped us figure out what we were doing wrong. I feel like that's what Victor Conte has been doing since he got out of prison. I understand they had like a very shady past, but if you really, really think about it, who better to advocate but than somebody who's gotten away with things that he's gotten away with, And it's a little bit unfortunate because I feel like a lot of the attack on like the SNAC program and stuff came about because of the Ryan Garcia situation, because Ryan started spinning the narratives and stuff like that. Even though I know there was talks about it before, but I feel like it was elevated after the Ryan versus Devin Haney situation, And I think it's sort of unfair because one, whatever Victor Conte got going on has nothing to do with Ryan. I mean, unless we're gonna tie some weird conspiracy theory, which I see people try to do like a lot for some reason. Ryan pissing dirty. What Victor Conte's got going on right now has nothing to do with it. And as for him, we don't even have proof that he's doing anything wrong now. All we know, he's one of the main people that speak up for clean boxing.
That's not true.
Good. Huh?
That's not true that we don't have proof he's doing nothing wrong now. But continue.
Yeah. So, well, from my standpoint, yeah, all we know now is that he's been speaking up for clean boxing, which is a good thing, And so that's what I'm saying. Why do people constantly want to crucify somebody? If I understand this is not wrong, but people can change. I say if we're gonna crucify, let it be something that we know he did now versus like a past scenario.
But he hasn't changed
because he changed. Let me ask you a question on that, Boxing Hacker. Enough with the hugs, kisses, and Valentine's Day cards. Let me ask you a question. You said, yeah, I'm back now. You said that Victor Conte changed and he turned advocate.
Yeah.
How you know that, bro? I just want to know what indicators do you have to prove that he actually changed? In other words, change meaning he's doing something different that he didn't do before.
So here's the thing, right? When it comes to the word advocate means you're just speaking up for something.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm an advocate.
That's what,
right?
Yeah, so you're an advocate for. You could be considered an advocate as well. So as far as we know as the public, whenever like a fighter is tested dirty, he's one of the people that come out. He brings light to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of tries to like, try to shut off all the falsities that might be in the news, or try, speak up about it. So from my standpoint as a fan of boxing, when I see him as an advocate. I have yet to see him do anything that like contradicts, like as of right now, like I said, I know what he did in the past.
Yeah.
But
you mean after he came home from prison?
Yeah, after he came home from prison, exactly.
So you saying he changed, right?
Right. There's nothing leading me to believe that he's still a criminal, if that makes sense.
Okay, let me ask you a question on it, because you said he changed since he came. Do you know what year he came out of jail? Like since he been home? No,
I'm around the exact year.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, let me say this. Since you don't know the exact year, It was definitely way before 2012. Did you know that Lamont Roach Jr. and Andre Berto both tested positive for a
For
banned
banned
substance
substance,
while
yeah.
they were in the SNAC program? This is after he got out of jail. You aware of that?
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Oh, okay. So how can you say he changed after he came home from jail when two people, actually it was more than two people, but two boxers tested positive for a banned substance in his program?
But was it tied to him though? Was it him that got him to take it?
They
Yes,
they
he
they
different
they, they
condition.
were they were in the snack program, taking the supplements, doing the workout, and other
Sure.
things.
So
Terrence,
what?
hold on,
So was
real
this?
quick.
Okay,
Terrence
go
Crawford
ahead.
said, "I use certain things that other fighters don't use." So whatever the other things was, that's probably what
Yeah,
they
yeah.
may have been. I don't know, but it was different than what happened before he went to jail. Is what you're saying. You're saying that he's changed. That means whatever he
Yeah.
did before he went to jail, he's doing something different. But after he
From
came
my
home.
standpoint, my perspective, right? Like say
Yeah.
if he's doing something underground that we don't know. But as of right now, I can't
Hacker, you're
give
not
somebody
answering the question, brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to
I
get.
am answering the question.
I'm
I'm
He's
trying to.
saying
talking
from
Okay.
my
about
perspective.
afterwards.
Yeah.
People
Right,
have
From my
popped dirty
perspective.
afterwards.
Right, because so here's the thing, Boxing Hacker. You
Yeah.
said that Victor Conte changed his life around.
Sure.
This is the same point that I was making the champ side. You know who he is, the guy champ side?
No champ size.
Huh?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, I know him now too. I didn't know him before, but now I know he's full of popcorn and fluff. He don't want no work with me. But I caught
Yeah,
him
go
doing
ahead.
the same thing you doing, and when I asked him, he lied to me. So I want to see if you're going to be honest to me.
Sure, feel
How do
free.
you know that Victor Conte changed? In other words, is he did something or he was doing things before he went to jail? He came home from jail. What indicators can you use to substantiate that he actually changed?
Okay, so when it comes, so like I said before, it's only from my perspective, only from the data that I can see, right?
Yeah.
So something that's objective. I know. So for right now, what I know from Victor Conte, he's became the biggest proponent for like clean boxing. It's not to say it might be possible he might be doing something, but from what I know of him today, he's just been somebody that's been advocating
Boxing
for it.
Hacker, he's talking about after he came out of jail, fighters has popped dirty. That is a fact.
Yes,
It's not about
fires
perspective,
are popped
brother.
dirty. So let me ask you something. Wait. When they say
Answer the question first.
I am
You said
answering the
afterwards. You talking about a perspective. We talking about facts.
Right,
After
so
he's gotten out of jail, fighters have popped
Dean,
dirty. Is that true or not?
Comes from from what I see, from my
No, what
vision,
you know. We ain't
from
talking about what you see. What do you know?
I can't. It's not like a worldview, right? I'm not the world.
Has fighters popped dirty after he's gotten out of jail under the SNAC program? Yes or no?
Question. Can I answer his question?
Yes. Hurry up, please.
Thank you. Sorry, I was really interrupted by the young brother over there.
Hold on, Dean. I got him. Go on ahead, Boxing Hacker. Go speak on.
So here's the thing, right? So there's nothing that leads me to believe that he's still dirty. Now, could he be? Maybe, but there's nothing. I can't say that he is. Does that make sense?
I'm not saying he is or not. You made a statement, and your statement was the man done changed his life around. I got proof, and I presented this proof for about a year and a half that Victor Conte's done the same exact things that he was doing before he went to jail, that he's doing right now today as I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Like literally. I can name 10 things right off the cuff. But I'm asking you though. You're the one that made a bold statement saying the man changed his life around.
So let's look at it this way, Manager Mario. Let's look at it this way, right? Let's say you have a rapist, right? Somebody who's been raping people, or that's a little bit too dark.
Come on,
let's just say like a killer.
Please don't.
Yeah, let's say like a killer. That might be better.
All right, go ahead. Give me a killer. Give me a killer.
Yeah, and then one day he comes home and then he starts doing programs and stuff about how to stay away from people that might be killers and stuff like that. And then he starts helping the police to catch killers. Then it's for somebody that's observing this person will be like, he's changed his life around based on what he's doing now, based on what I objectively see of him doing now. Because before I knew he was a killer, but now he's trying to like apprehend killers. You see, so that's where I'm at with it.
All right, and let me give you my perspective because I'm gonna use your scenario, right?
Sure.
Let's use the term killer, right?
Okay.
Let's say if there's a killer, gets caught for killing people. He goes to jail for killing people, right? And when he comes home, he's telling the world, I'm an advocate. I'm gonna help the law. I'm gonna help law enforcement catch every killer in America. And then we find out he done killed somebody again. I want to ask you a question. How would your perspective be then if this quote unquote advocate goes to jail for killing somebody, come home and he kills just only take one person to kill again. He killed one more person again. What would be your perspective of that changed killer then?
So then I'll be like, okay, he might still be a killer then, right? He killed somebody.
Okay, now I want to. I knew you was going. Let me take my glasses off because I knew you was going to walk right into the trap. I knew it. So then my question becomes, how come that logic don't apply to Victor Conte? Because that's exactly what happened. He went to jail for helping people cheat and use performance enhancement drugs in boxing and baseball and other sports. He come home, claim he's an advocate, and Marlon Byrd, a baseball player, and two boxers, Willie Monroe Jr. and Andre Berto, all three of these guys tested positive for a banned substance under his watch, under his protocol, under his program. Why that logic can't apply to him, bro?
So when you say so like there were actually drugs that were tied from him to them.
Huh?
So when it comes to when it comes to them testing positive, right? Was it actually something that tied him to them testing positive?
Yes, they were using supplements.
Bro,
were there supplements that were tainted or what? What was it?
Bro, I'm not an expert. I can't sit up here and tell you what was tainted. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that they were in his program, taking his other things, substances, and whatever else he's doing, and whatever else he's giving those guys. They tested positive for a banned substance, for an illegal performance enhancement drug, right?
Yeah. So my question to you is still the same, right?
No. Wait, hold up. So, before you ask me, because right now you know what's happening, and you know you've been.
I see how you're trying to connect the dots, but I want
no. Hold on for a minute. I want to tell you something important. Yes, everybody on the panel know this, and all of the Roll the Tape family members know this.
Sure.
I've been traumatized in my life. Don't gaslight me. Just answer my question, and I promise you I'll answer.
I'm not gonna guess. I just want to know the facts of the scenario, okay?
I just gave you the facts.
So the most important fact is this, though.
He killed somebody again after he came home from jail.
The most important fact is this, right? They tested positive, right? So I'm asking you, were any of them linked to like something that he gave them? Did he actually give them the thing that made him test positive?
They was using his supplements when they popped dirty.
So is there actually a tainted supplement from SNAC?
No, don't start talking about tainted because you don't give Ryan Garcia that pass. So don't start talking about tainted.
You
want me to say he's a killer, right?
Boxing hacker.
First, it might be a killer. It can be, yes.
Boxing hacker. Let me flip it the other way.
Sure, go ahead.
Is Devin Haney a clean fighter?
As far as my knowledge, yes.
How do you know that?
Because he never tests positive for any banned substance.
Is he associated with Victor Conte?
Yes.
Thank you. You just proved my point again. So Devin Haney, is a clean fighter.
Yeah.
Never tested positive for a banned substance.
Okay.
And he's associated with Victor Conte's SNAC program, correct?
Yes.
These are all facts, right?
Correct. Yes.
So now, why not the logic can't be applied the same exact way that somebody's with Victor Conte on his program, test positive for a banned substance, and you say, Victor Conte changed.
I did not. Wait. So what I'm asking you is to clarify. Okay. When I mean clarification, I mean this, right? Let's say, wait, let me just do this, Manager Martin. Let's say,
this is a shame.
You'll see what I'm getting at. Wait, guys, those guys will see what I'm getting at.
How sharp was the knife when the killer used
it? No.
Look at that man.
Manager Marty, when you convict somebody of killing, right? It's beyond reasonable doubt, right? So here's my question to you. All right, let's say Victor Conte gave them X, Y, and Z supplements. Or were any of those supplements tied to them testing positive for a banned substance? That's my question to you. Let's say Victor Conte gave them X, Y, or Z substances, and number of substances, right? Were any of them tied to him? Those fighters testing positive? Were any of those?
Yes.
So they were. Okay.
Yes, it's widely reported. Yes.
Which ones? Which ones?
I don't know the name of the bro. Come on, bro. How am I know this?
No. Wait, I'm asking you. So you're saying that Victor Conte gave him a substance and they tested positive.
Hey, can I?
No, I want to know. I need to know the whole
Boxing
case.
hacker. This is what I'm gonna do. Boxing hacker. Look, right.
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna do because I see where we going. You want to keep taking us all around the
No. I
circle.
just want you to clarify that one point.
It's
That way I
been
can answer your
clarified.
question.
Look, it's been clarified when they're with his program, they test positive for a banned substance. It's
But they
the
could have taken a
same,
banned substance outside of his program, right?
bro.
They're trapped in the
Listen
program.
listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that we can say about Devin Haney. You said Devin Haney never tested positive for a banned substance, right?
Yeah.
So he's with the SNAC program, right?
Yes.
You didn't ask me whether or not
Do you
Devin
know
Haney.
why?
No, hold on.
Hey.
Let me finish. You
Yeah.
didn't ask me do I think Devin Haney might be taking banned substances that are undetectable outside of Victor Conte? You didn't ask me that. So now you want me to use that as a possibility, bro. We don't even get all into that.
That's not what I'm trying to say. The reason why you can't say for Devin Haney is because if to say any of this, if you use the logic backwards, right, and say Victor Conte has like illegal substances, if Devin Haney takes those substances, he would pop dirty. The fact that he didn't pop dirty means that I can't objectively say that he took anything legal. Now your point is undetectable.
No. Look,
I'll get in.
man, Marty, I apologize, man. I've been trying to sit
Go
here
ahead,
and hold
DC.
on.
DC been having his hand up. Go ahead, hurry up,
So
DC.
I've been
Where
trying.
you at?
So look, here's
Hold
my
on,
issue.
NHA.
And
Hold on, NHA.
here's
Go
what
ahead,
I
DC.
want to debunk, right? So
yeah,
let me do this first, man. I've been waiting.
Gotta take a drink.
Hey, look, I got some points I want to piggyback.
I'm
I got some
mind.
points I want to piggyback off of too. So don't forget
Yeah.
about it before we
Yeah.
All right,
So
come on, I
we'll
got
go
you.
around the
Come on with it.
here's what I want to address, right? And
Yeah.
those that's in the thread, the initial comment that Boxing Hacker put in, which is he's comparing someone that used to be a hacker that was incarcerated that now works for the federal government.
That's on the screen
And
right now. Yes.
and the reason I want to hone in on that is because I hear this used in arguments very often to help prove a point. So let me just kind of debunk this. As someone who is a cybersecurity SME in the space for the last 26 years, who works for federal agencies that I'm not at liberty to say, I can attest that yes, hackers are used to help arm and equip the government and learn some of their ways. What is not being said, and so the comparison is like comparing horseshoes and grenades, right? Just because you throw both of them or toss both of them, don't mean that we can have the same conversation about them both. What is not being said in this analogy is, and what's different between Victor Conte and in this case, the hacker that used to be this black hacker is once converting over, so there's two levels. You have a consultant as a hacker. You say, hey, man, listen, this is something that I would have done. This is something that I would have did. And there's a perspective that you can look at. We use those guys. Then there's the other guy, which is Victor Conte, that guy who has started his own business, who's actually contracting with the federal government, who has access to different forms, different levels of access than just this guy that's a consultant. That guy that is being used as an ex-hacker, she has a responsibility of allowing the federal government to dig into their past and maintain their current status to make sure that if I'm in relationship or business with you, I don't trust you. I'm never going to trust you. And therefore, you have these boxes that you need to check on a continuing basis to make sure that you're playing clean. Victor Conte does not have those checks and balances in place. And so when we make this comparison, I want your audience to be clear that we're talking about two different levels of governance, or in fact, one not having any governance versus the other. I don't like the analogy from someone that works in the field because it's not a clean comparison. And so I wanted to make sure that there's some light that's shed on that. It just doesn't work that way. Now, the other part that I wanted to address with Box and Hacker is simply this. some say 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. What the real challenge is when someone like Victor Conte, and we've talked about this earlier, has a reputation known for doing something in the past. Unfortunately, the way that human nature works, you're always going to be seen attached to that. Yes, you can, as you said in your words, you can become an advocate and you could become this person that has have a change of heart, but the suspicion, the reason of doubt is always going to be there. That's the unfortunate part of tainting or going through that process. Um, Someone talked about having a family member that have engaged in illegal activities. We all have either ourselves or have family members that's been a part of that, and whether it's through some form of hiring process or through some process of your lady uh, have known your friends to be dogs and don't trust you, whatever that guilty of association, that's a real thing. We can't act like it doesn't exist. It's true in the world. We use it as a sense to help navigate ourselves forward with the trust factor. And so I just wanted to really address. I'm gonna go ahead and get off the pedestal now, but I wanted to clear up that analogy
Yeah.
and on that point.
Let
So
me come
when it
behind you.
comes to the
One of the things that you got to remember, boxing hacker,
okay,
Victor Conte is one of the characters in boxing that boxing has always had. There's always been nefarious characters in boxing. The reason why he's in boxing today is because nobody else is going to let him come anywhere else. You see. Secondly, there are fighters that I favor that are on the SNAC program. Every last one of them, including Terrence, will always have to live with the black mark that you were associated with Victor Conte and you were on the SNAC program. See, it doesn't even really matter to some degree whether there's anything illegal in the SNAC products, because let me be honest too, I use SNAC program products right now. I don't know what the program is, but I do use the product since last year. So if I was trying to get involved with boxing, I too would be having that mark on my head because I'm associated with somebody who's nefarious, who's in boxing. That will never change. So you have to understand when 3 fighters that Marty had mentioned, I think he forgot the woman Baumgartner. What did she pop dirty to when she's in the smoke? And that's recent. That wasn't in 2012. I think that was just last year. So you have a series of fighters who are on the SNAC program who are performing well, yet 4 of them has still popped dirty with the gentleman who says he's an advocate. So automatically there's a red flag there and it's not going anywhere. So you got to understand where that suspicion is always going to lie. So this is the thing that you got to understand. You can't say you've changed, you're an advocate, when yet people who are on your program are still popping dirty. Now, is it possible that they went somewhere else and did something? Makes no difference. The only thing that we know is you and the program and that those fighters are using your supplements and on your boxing program. So that's going to be the suspicion that's going to be always there. Secondly,
yeah,
we don't understand to some degree how much money is generated outside of the part of boxing that we know. See, there are a lot of gambling sites all over the country, offshore. That's why I said sooner or later, a federal investigation is going to get triggered because we don't know how many millions are out there. And let's just use the biggest fight in boxing that happened already, which was Crawford and Spence. Let's just say that there was hundreds of millions betted outside of the realm of boxing, and somebody who knew that one of them or both of them had something they should not have had. Nobody's going to tell. Nobody's going to tell because of the level of that fight. But there's still going to be the suspicion. That's what started as soon as it came up. Like, okay, did he win that way? I don't know, but I know I'm not going to be naive to say that suspicion should not be there. It's going to be there. And every other fighter, from Devin to anybody else, is going to be there. Now we know that Victor was involved with one of the testing bodies, which I believe is VADA. Now that's another question that you're going to have to ask. Okay, is he that plugged in where he can say, let me make sure I can protect my investment over here with the fighters here to make sure that nothing happens to them, but I can call out, I think as Dean said, everybody else to put the spotlight over there, keep the spotlight off of my people or the people that I'm involved with. So you have to, you can't just say, and I think, I should say, DC Geroy just said, when they use hackers, those hackers are monitored. They are constantly monitored, and they are never trusted. Yes, we're going to see what you know. We're going to use what you know. You're going to help us. We're not trusting you, however.
So here's the thing about that.
So you got to understand that that's how the game is played. Even if, for instance, I'll try to use the right kind of words. If I was somewhere and I was known to be with certain kinds of people, and something bad happened while I was there, and when the authorities showed up, the person they saw first was me, and the device that was used to delete somebody was there as well, and I'm standing right there near it. Doesn't matter whether I had my hand on it or not. I'm looking at you right now. You're always going to have that suspicion because you were there, you were associated, and you were actually in the area where these things happened. So you can't dismiss that. I could say I'm a great guy, I've never done anything in my life, but somebody's going to say, but yet you was there, and that was there, and we think you did it, plus you had a problem with the person. That's never going away.
So here's the thing, though. Let me respond to you guys, both of you guys, right? For the first guy who made a comment about the black hats, right? So what I said there, I said that some of the greatest cybersecurity people right now were once black hat hackers. This is true. It's not. I wasn't a comparison to say that it's the reason why you should trust Victor Conte. I'm saying that the black hat hackers that the government did hire, they hired them for a reason because they beat the cybersecurity experts before they got locked up. And that's why they became part of their what you call it. That's why they created a allegiance between them.
But really quick,
so
but you have to also add.
It's just a reality, right? Because if
no. Let me just say this. I agree with that. I can concede that point. If you can concede the point where was left out is there are some things that take place after.
I'm not denying that.
Okay, but you didn't mention those.
Yeah, so, I did mention it because it's not part of what I was trying to say. So what I was trying to say is that it's the fact they're using the fact they're using black hat hackers is because they know they're good, and the comparison was actually because Victor Conte did a lot. He committed crimes and he got away with it for a long time. So why not use somebody who got away with it for a long time?
Hacker. The question is, the man has had people in his camp that is pop dirty afterwards, sir.
Hold on,
I'm not letting you go all the way around the world about this.
Let me respond to these two brothers real quick, please.
No, you ain't respond to me the first time. You ain't respond to me the first time. They let you off the hook.
Fighter friend. Let me respond to these two brothers.
Okay, go ahead. Because you about to fill it up with a lot of hogwash, you Earth fan.
It's like a march for freedom with Dean, man. So that's what I was trying to get at with that, right? When it comes, yes, and I agree with you. There's always going to be suspicion, right? And there's nothing wrong. Like you don't need to have a history to suspect somebody, right? I can look at a fighter and be like, damn, that guy's strong. He might be on something. Some people think, what's his name was on something? Petrevia, right? That's all suspicion. There's nothing wrong with suspicion. However, it becomes an issue where we start saying we should start condemning people or condemning things off suspicion when we don't have full proof. And that's what I'm getting.
Hacker, we don't got full proof that Ryan Garcia is a dirty fighter.
Why? Well, he did test positive.
So Alicia Bumgarner test positive too.
He did test positive for a banned substance.
So now I'm confused, right? Because there is proof. You say if we don't have proof, there's proof. What
There's
proof?
100% proof that he tested positive for a banned substance. Now, what
So
you're
what
trying
But he
to
didn't
argue
get
is
suspended for a banned substance, boxing
that's
hacker.
intent. So you have to understand the difference between intent and actuality. He
Okay,
tested positive.
Alicia Bumgarner.
So,
Can I say this to you, boxing hacker? Alicia Bumgarner popped dirty. She was under the SNAC program in Devin Haney camp.
Sure, she popped
Nah,
dirty. Yes,
intent
she
is
popped dirty.
Just like Ryan
intent
Garcia, right?
differences between a
Yes.
murder 1 and a murder 2 rap, right?
Yeah,
One was premeditated,
and
one was
manslaughter.
accidental.
Yes. Intent separates manslaughter from capital murder from second-degree murder.
Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I gotta say. I'm sorry. I can't.
Somebody still died in the process.
Boxing hacker.
Somebody did kill that person.
Boxing hacker.
Yes.
You said the man changed. He got out of jail. And then he had boxing hacker. No, you know this name. I'm not letting you do it. You could try to cut me off 5,000 times. It's not going to work.
You the freedom fighter. Come on.
Yes, because I'm about to call you a fool ass Earth man in a second. I don't want to do it.
All right, let's go. Let me hear it.
I'll go. No, we do this all the time, man. Marty, he know I don't mean it by disrespect. We do this all the time.
All right, come on.
Boxing hacker.
Yes.
You said the man changed.
Yeah.
We don't have proof, but then he gets out of jail, and then people under his program pop dirty.
Sure.
And after he's gotten out of jail, as recently as Alicia Bumgarner, and then you said without reasonable doubt, right?
Yeah.
Right. Without reasonable doubt. But she popped dirty.
Beyond reasonable doubt, not without.
Beyond whatever. You could use the proper term. You know what I'm talking about. Don't take me off my point. This is what you do.
Opposite.
Okay. So Ryan Garcia popped dirty.
Yeah.
He did not get suspended for PEDs. Why? Because it was beyond reasonable doubt, right?
No. It wasn't beyond. So they never. It was sort of like settled out of court, right? They didn't really.
No. The question is to you, boxing hacker.
So
we don't have full proof.
Okay, let's say you go with the intent.
We don't have full proof that Ryan Garcia took anything.
That's still legal. That's still cheating. The fact you're breaking the rules by not turning in your supplement is still cheating.
Right, and then when you pop dirty, that is still cheating.
So yeah, if he had
but this is not. But my thing is,
liability falls.
Has SNAC fighters been suspended?
Let's say what he got convicted for was true. Let's just say that he didn't turn his substance. Guess what? The fact he didn't turn it in led to you popping dirty. You see it? So you still cheated because you broke the rule. No, that's not what led to him popping dirty. And it still led to you popping dirty.
No, the test led to him popping dirty. It was
now
you can say it was unintentional,
but if you have followed all the rules, it will never happen. That's the point you're missing.
Boxing hacker. Has SNAC fighters been suspended for popping dirty since Victor Conte has been out of jail? It's just a simple yes or no question.
It's a yes answer. But
okay, then it's in the discussion.
All right, so that ends that. So now that we got you, okay.
No, the question is always the same. Does Victor Conte make them pop dirty? That's what I'm trying to get you guys.
Boxing hacker. Let's be clear. Because listen. Let's be clear. The backstage. I have to say this because I was supposed to have gotten off an hour ago, but I love you guys. We're going to do this right now. And I have to say this to all of you. I'm going to tell you how much I love all of you, and I appreciate all of you. We're going to hang on for a few more minutes, but someone's very upset with me for still being on here. Oh, she's very upset with me. But we're going to get the deal done. And we having fun. I haven't been here. I miss you guys, all right? So I'll be able to take all of that later on. But I just wanted to acknowledge something before I get to these super chats real quick. Boxing hacker, thank you for being honest. You haven't been here in a while, and I appreciate a whole 40 minutes of you taking us around the world to finally admit that people tested positive for a banned substance under Victor Conte's program after he came home from prison, and he said he was an advocate. And that's all we really wanted you to say. Now, you know I ain't seen you in a while, so you forgot. You may have forgot I do this too. I got to let you go now. All right. Now, that was it for him. Mr. Greg, I was being patient, brother. We can't. I've been going for a while.
I wish you had told him that Benavidez did pop dirty as well. He just said he didn't.
Better BF, yes. Yeah. Better BF.
I'm sorry, man, Marty.
Double salute to my guy, Fort Greene Farrell. He is a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. Thank you for your contribution and your support. Fort Greene says a lot of violent and invalid points being stated. Shaking my head. That was for boxing hacker. Then we got my guy. Haven't seen him in a while. Always a pleasure, man, seeing him. Double salute to Cornelius Burnett. Thank you, Cornelius, for your support and contribution to the channel. Cornelius says, hacker, which is he asked the same question I did. Hacker, then how do you account for boxers with Victor testing positive? Which is the question that I had for him, and hopefully we got some kind of answers that we look for with the questions that we asked. Double salute to my guy, member of the channel, supervisor of the Roller Tape film crew, Lifeline, Music TV. In the super chat says, Manager Marty, salute Mr. Greg, Deem, and Ironheart. What up? Yo, what boxing hacker be talking about, bruh? DC, thank you. Lifeline, I don't know what, every time he comes up here, unfortunately we have to go through this. But I'm an equal opportunity employer, and I give everybody an opportunity to come give their perspective. Let me see real quick. Hold on one second. Real quick. Two Cents Boxing was here, but she's gone. I got a few more minutes left before I gotta go, but I'm gonna let my guy Big Supreme come on, because I want to ask y'all a question about Tank versus Lamont Roach and this alleged venue change and date postponement. But before we get to that, I would like to hear your perspective on the actual fight as far as Lamont Roach versus Tank. I'll go around real quick, but before I do, let me give Big Supreme an opportunity to acknowledge himself. Big Supreme, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can hear me?
Yes, sir. All right.
So what's up, Marty? What's up, panel?
Hey, man, we all good. What's good with you?
I'm chilling, man. I just got off work. I'm in traffic right now. But I wanted to talk on the Ryan Garcia and the VADA thing, but I don't think you got enough time, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But
all right, come back. Look, come back on Wednesday. I'll spin the block on Wednesday. We talk about it. Come on back.
Yeah, I'll pull up on Wednesday. But to address your point about Tank and Roach,
yeah.
I think it's a good fight. I think a lot of people are saying it's not a good fight. It's not going to be competitive. I feel like they're just picking at that because nobody said nothing about Cordina fighting Shakur. Nobody had a problem with that. For some reason, I feel like with Tank, there's like a double standard for him. Like, he wanted to fight Lomachenko. They said he was too old. But these same fans, they're happy about Jesse Rodriguez fighting Juan Estrada, and now he's even supposed to fight Chocolatito, I believe. And Chocolatito's like 38. So I just feel like with Tank is like a double standard. Roach is a good fighter. They have the history from the amateurs. Understand, and Roach has 13 fights at 135. He started his career at 135. He got the opportunity to get a belt at 130. That's why he went down. And I think it's a good fight. I do think that Tank will probably stop him, probably late in the championship rounds. I think he's technical enough to survive that long. I think he's better than Frank Martin. But yeah, that's really my perspective on that.
Big Supreme, my guy.
Yeah.
My guy, what's up, Dean?
All right, so since Dean was talking, he acknowledged Big Supreme. Dean, what's your take on that? First and foremost, do Lamont Roach deserve the opportunity to get this big payday against the face of boxing, Tank Davis? They both are from DC, the DMV area. Lamont Roach, he do have one loss on his record, but he's still a good fighter, very polished, definitely have a lot of pedigree in the amateur background. So number one, do Lamont Roach deserve this fight with Tank Davis? And if he does, when do you think they're actually going to fight?
We hear about this postponement. If they do or don't postpone it, it is what it is. Because the only reason why I think it's a chance that that's probably true, because I've been checking for the tickets to go on sale, because y'all know I like to go down Houston and go support my guy. People all saying about, about Lamont Roach, this, that, and the third. They had no problem when Devin Haney brought up JoJo Diaz or Jorge Linares or Shakur Stevenson bringing up Cordina. But the biggest difference is Lamont Roach was probably the best at a division. He deserves the same opportunity other fighters get, y'all. You know what that is? When you are a champion, you can go challenge the other champion at the weight class above you. Nobody had a problem with Terrence Crawford doing it. Nobody had a problem with Teofimo Lopez potentially doing it with Brian Norman Jr. Oh, yeah, yo, I got a better example. Nobody had a problem when Devin Haney was doing it to Regis Prograve. And Regis Prograve made Sandor Martin step aside. Sandor Martin has had to step aside 3 times. So that word deserve don't even mean nothing because Sandor Martin actually deserved the shot. Because he was literally in position to get the shot and had to step aside 3 times. My thing is when it comes to Gervonta Davis, they can hate, they can say whatever they want to say. All y'all doing is helping the man's career. Whether you talk bad, good publicity, bad publicity, his name is in the algorithm more than the people you like. It just is what it is. You're trying to stop a freight train. You can't. He's already there. I tell people this all the time, Manager Marty, he's already at the apex of the sport. You could not like what Canelo does. Doesn't change the fact that if he fights William Skull, he's going to sell 500,000 pay-per-views. Period. Love it, like it, hate it, do whatever you got to do. But as men, you got to understand life ain't always about what you want. You got to accept things for what they is. None of us up here, before I land my plane, none of us up here made Gervonta Davis as popular as he is. The world did that. If you want Devin Haney and all of these other fighters to be in this position, maybe you need to tell them to do what they need to do and put the work in to be in that position. It's not Gervonta Davis fans that is the sole reason that he's where he at. He got a big Mexican fan base. You know why? Because Canelo Alvarez, y'all, guess who his favorite fighter is? Gervonta Davis. Noah Inoue, guess who one of his favorite fighters is? Gervonta Davis. Terrence Crawford. Guess who won? Guess even though Shakur Stevenson is his guy, guess who's one of his favorite fighters? Gervonta Tank Davis. So this Lamont Roach deserves the same opportunity that every other champion gets that's a weight class below the champion at the class above. And I land my plane there.
Wow, good point. Double salute to my guy, Andre Noble. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. Andre Noble in the super chat says, roll the tape, Brother Marty. Salute. Always a pleasure, Dre. Thank you again. Mr. Greg, we'll go to you. And then right after Mr. Greg, DC, does Lamont Roach deserve this opportunity to get this big payday against the face of boxing, Tank Davis? And if so, or if not, either way, but if so, when do you think they're actually going to fight?
I'll use your analogy. Good representation puts you in position to get the fights, period. If there was somebody who had to step aside, in this case, he didn't have the kind of representation or the money was good enough to step aside. So it's not even anymore about whether you deserve it. It's whether you got the representation to put you in a position where you actually get signed for the fight. Fights sometimes get canceled and have to be moved. So that's something that happens. I don't know why it was or whether it was legitimate, and it doesn't even matter. The fact of the matter is he gets the fight. I think the fight will be a competitive fight. It'll be certainly great down here. And I don't see it going where Lamont Roach will win, but I see him having some moments. I mean, you can have some moments with a fighter like Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is not just a knockout artist. He is a good fighter. He has skills. He shows it. He shows patience. He shows the ability to set traps. He shows all of those things that we look for, and we see it happen, and we see him spring the traps. So I do think Lamont, because he's a veteran, he has a chance. I don't think he's going to win, but I do think that he'll have some moments in the fight. I think it'll be a great fight, but I still see Davis winning the fight. That's where I stand on that.
It's on you, Big DC.
Yeah. So to answer your question, do I think he deserves the fight? I'm gonna say yes. I'm also self-aware enough to say that, or at least to consider that I may be biased, right? So, born and raised Washington D.C., I always, I'm going to use that word advocate. I'm going to advocate for anybody from the city, man, to be able to have the opportunity at a good and or enormous payday. So, does he deserve it? I say yes. Now, just to move beyond the biases, why? A couple of reasons. One, Lamont Roach comes from from a particular pedigree. His father um, has a reputation here in the city, right? And so there's been work that's been put in. And when you want to make some association, not to say that there's direct, but LeBron James and his son, right? Some people might say Bronny doesn't deserve to be there. Well, if your dad has put in some work, then he creates doors and opportunities for you. And so there's part of that that goes on here. I think it's also deserved and it's appreciated because of the relationship that DC and Baltimore has had, right? Um, he also deserves it because they are familiar with each other, as Dean talked about from the amateurs. I'm sparring. My uncle has a boxing team here, Diamonds in the Rough, right? And so train youngins. And so DC is so small, you see cats filter in and out. Some of the clinics here, Headbangers used to be a real popular known one. And so it's deserved because you got a young brother who has the skill, the technique to be able to box Tank. I'm not betting with Lamont. I do think just because of the power, I think Tank, I don't know if it's a knockout, right? I'm not predicting that. If I had to bet on a knockout, it would definitely be Tank. I think Lamont has the skills to be able to hold his own, but I agree with I think Dina was talking about it towards the end of the fight, or maybe that was Supreme towards the end of the fight. I think Tank possibly would have downloaded enough and does what Tank does. But to kind of bring it all to a close, yes, I think he deserves to fight. Oh, and the other point was, um, who else, right? And so when you start looking at the top rankings in the 135 class, like Lomachenko, no. Shakur Stevenson, no. Um, um, who you got? Zapata, no, right? So he's already dealt with Frank. And so when you start going through Keyshawn Davis, I mean, I'd rather see a Lamont Roach versus a Keyshawn Davis just because of the history that Tank and Lamont has, right? And so when you talk about the Devons and the Ryans, the amateurs and the history makes for a better fight, right? And so I'd rather see Lamont before I'd rather see someone like a Keyshawn Davis in there. So I think he deserves it. I think there's nobody else that has placed themselves in a position really to contend. And so I'm all for it, man. I want to see it. So um, I'm excited. It's good for the city. There's been some buzz, you know what I mean? Cats that's from the city talking about it, and I'm sure cats from Baltimore talking about it. So let's go at it and so let's see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Very well said, man. We 2.5 hours in. You know how I feel, Dean and DC and Greg and Big Supreme. When I was young, my mom had a rule. And of course, the rule allowed my siblings and I to stay out later the older I got. But I remember a time where my mom said, Marty, I want you back in the house by 10:30. And to me, even though I was 15, that was relatively early because that's when the fun actually started. And being raised by a single mother, no father, my father wasn't in my life. You know, I figured, look, the worst thing that's going to happen because I'm 15, my mom don't beat us no more. That's out of it. I'm going to be on punishment. And so I figure when 10:20 rolled around, Dean, I figured, look, I ain't going to make it home in 10 minutes anyway. So DC, I might as well just go on and stay out late. I'm gonna get in trouble
Might as well
anyway, so
go
it
all
ain't
out.
really no need.
You just go crash out.
I'm just gonna crash. There ain't no need for me rushing home at
I know the
11
feeling.
when it don't matter if I get home at 12:30 or not. I'm gonna get in trouble anyway. So all I'm saying to all my family members listening live in living color, I'm already in trouble with it anyway. So it ain't really no need for me. I made that decision an hour ago. I mean, look, it ain't no need for me to hurry up. You know?
Oh man.
Oh,
Hey Marty. Marty. Hey, look, hey, I feel you on that, but I'm a circle back around from a cat that's from DC, Sinbad, who told that same joke, man, and you know, he followed up with that to say that until things get real, when you get in that car and you know it's time for you to start getting closer to where you need to be, you start looking at red lights like, man, wait a minute, this light been too long. I
Yes,
need you to
sir.
hurry, and you start running red lights. So
Yes,
I
sir.
say to you, I understand, and I'm gonna speak for all of us, we respect and appreciate your decision that you made an hour ago. But when you start getting closer, baby, it might start to change up a little bit. You might start running a couple of red lights and understand that that pressure might be on.
Pressure on. But you know what? It's good fun. You
Yeah.
know, it's all good. And I'm gonna tell you like this. And this, I love having fun, man. That's the reason why. Is Cash here? Wait, I gotta see if Cash Crypto still here?
Yeah, he
Yes,
here.
he is. Hey, Cash Crypto, this for him. That's why when you said in the chat, you said Mac Marty. Hey, Cash, I ain't say nothing. I ain't say Mac Marty activated or nothing. Because she might look at this and say, oh, you late and Mac Marty. I ain't even Mac Marty or nothing. I ain't say nothing, DC. I ain't Mac Marty. I ain't acknowledging nothing, man.
Yeah,
But
there it
no,
is. Plausible
man,
deniability.
uh-huh.
I got love and respect for all of you on the panel, man. I appreciate y'all coming up. Everybody, and Cash Crypto in the chat laughing too. He did the emojis. All things and Big Supreme and all y'all, man. I appreciate Dean, Mr. Greg, DC. Man, everybody is here, man, tonight. I appreciate y'all. We're gonna do this every week like we used to. And I'm gonna go because I'm doing I'm
You
doing
doing
way
way
too
too
much
much
talking, man.
talking.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with Big Supreme. 30 seconds, give me your last words, and then when he's done, Dean, and then Mr. Greg, DC, like we always do, close us out, DC. Everybody give us your last 30 seconds, man. And once again, I appreciate you guys coming up and everybody watching the live and the replay of the live, 2.5 hours. Salute to everybody. And I'm gonna turn my camera off and let y'all rock out. So starting with you, Big Supreme, 30 seconds to Dean, and then Greg, DC, close us out. And love y'all, man. Salute.
Salute. I'm driving, so I ain't gonna say too much, but salute to everybody on the panel. You know, I appreciate it. Deem's takes. Mr. Greg always has some very good takes. Yeah, I'm just gonna hop off. Anybody that's listening, come to 2 Cents Live. She'll be live in like 30 minutes. So come by and show some love and support, all right?
All right.
I'm gonna say this to the Earthmen in the comments that's talking about, well, why he ain't fight Dennis Barinchek. Barinchek is fighting Mark Chamberlain. You need to follow the sport a little bit better, first of all, okay? I just want y'all to know that. To all the Earthmen, we need answers and roll a tape. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey, Mr. Greg, DC Roy, man, y'all be safe. You know, y'all from the hometown of my father, so I got a special place in my heart from dudes from DC. I holla at y'all, man.
All right. I see
Easy,
you
baby.
soon.
Easy.
All right. Is me or you gonna go last, DC?
Yeah, I can go.
Yeah, go ahead, go last. I'll finish. It was always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to get on the platforms and chop it up and have some laughs and talk about this sport. I know I'm gonna see you I probably will see you at the fight. I know I'm gonna see you at the fight, DC, because this is home. So I'm gonna look for you when I come. Now I might put you on the loudspeaker so you can come see me at.
Hey, I need to get your number, Greg.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
um.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
you can get it. You can get it from Marty though.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll send it to you, DC.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Yeah. And Marty, thank you for bringing back the Fridays that we used to have. We had a good old time. Um, I hope you don't get in too much trouble. But to the chat and everybody, good to talk to you, man. I'll see y'all next week. And y'all be good. Good night.
All right, brother.
All right.
For me, man, within 30 seconds, two things that I want to hone in on, and Marty, hopefully, you don't get too mad at me. I had the opportunity to hear from you what led up to the black banning of your podcast. And so for those that's listening, I just want to say this, right? Um, if you've had the opportunity to listen to some of the other content creators, my thoughts and my hopes are that you've had a chance to draw some lines and separate the difference between those and the content creator, Brother Marty. And if you've had the opportunity to do that, please understand and know this, which you may not be privy to, is um, because of the work that he does, because of the knowledge that he has in the game, it better equips, if you would, him to have these type of discussions. And for those people that aren't as educated or lack the knowledge in the sport, it creates an opportunity for them to be prompted or used in different ways that Marty is not used. And so where am I going with this? If you all can continue to support the brother, got much love for him and value on top of that, what he does and what he brings to the discussion. So if you all can get on board with that and continue to support the channel, I'm sure he would have greatly appreciated it. I know I do because it makes sure that his existence continue to move forward. And then I'll close with this. Unlike Brother Greg, I kind of hope you do get in a little bit of trouble, brother, because if that means what I think it means, that means that you got some extra work that you might have to put in. All right. So go ahead and do your thing. Safe travels to you. Be safe, brother, and we catch up soon as we got planned. All right.